I don't need open. Oh, I still got 3 Gmails open.
Hi, Charlie.
Trust me.
And I gotta open this. I gotta become Gmail. I gotta become Gmail. Good Lord.
Hi, Charlie.
Can't hear you, Charlie. No audio.
Really?
No, he's got no audio.
I don't hear Charlie.
Am I on the Daily House page? I am. Are we live?
We are live.
There's Charlie. I see Charlie. We're live. I don't know where Link is. No idea where Link is.
Get here when he gets here.
Party as usual.
Does he have his mic on? He's got it.
No.
Yeah, we gotta really be careful about talking over one another.
Can't hear
Paul?
you, Charlie, at all.
What?
We can't hear him.
I hear him just fine.
Oh, I don't hear him.
Nor do I.
Yeah.
Let me go on Facebook.
Can hear you fine, Charlie.
Let me see if I can find him on Facebook.
Oh, are we? Yeah, you close it out because I can't even find
Paul
it.
there.
Oh, there. I heard somebody.
Go back here. Now, how's that?
Oh,
Now, can you hear me?
Better.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Holy cow.
Just takes one button to not be pressed.
I know. And the problem is it went, okay. It's, I got to check something else.
Oh, geez. Now I just went over. I'm trying to be. I can't enter a message to.
Got to make sure I'm in my ears.
Let me go back in here and send a whole slew of cuss words to Link.
Typical
Well,
Saturday
you got
night
the
for him.
important people here, Paul.
Huh?
So you got the important people here.
Okay. I was trying to get it into my ear, my head, my hearing aids.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's not going there.
It's not going up.
All right, let me
Can't
get up.
connect. Okay, don't want to.
You're fine.
Okay,
Don't
chat.
do
All
anything
right.
else, Charlie. Don't.
Are
do
we
anything
still good? Can you hear me?
I can
You're
hear
fine.
you.
Everything is perfect. Don't touch a button on your phone. Or
Okay, because I can barely hear all of you guys. Because you're not in my head, in my ears, where you normally would be. On this.
Yeah, you're loud and clear.
Okay.
Now, Jade is going to be a little bit late because she's got kids, got a big birthday party going on. And I can't imagine what Doc and your mom went through. Holy cow. With all you guys hanging around, how did, oh, there went
where'd he go?
I saw him press his phone, too. He's going to call me back on Messenger. You want to bet? We're having technical issues, people. Ah, the world of computers. I told you he'd call me back. All you have to do is click the link again.
Hi, Sean. Hi, Mike.
Charlie.
Hi, Sean. Hi, Mike.
I'm just kind of tiling my desktop here so I have Facebook chat. There we go.
Oh, wait, if I mute you, nobody can hear you. So I guess I'll just ask you to be quiet while I try and get a hold of him. Charlie! I can't hear you if you're talking to me. Just click the link again if there you are.
I'm trying to come back.
There you are.
I couldn't hear you on.
I don't know what happened. It just took me totally out of it. I was trying to get it to where I could hear you guys, but
Link has been sucked up by the aliens, and he will be present when they drop him back off.
You press the button and...
I got any kind of noise around me. I can't hear.
Hi, Nancy.
For some reason tonight. It don't want to play my...
Hi, Mike. Don't know where Link is. No idea. But believe me, if he comes
Camera,
on, boy, is
lights,
he going to get an earful.
chat.
Well, Link's a free spirit, you know.
There.
Hi, Nancy.
He probably is taking a nap.
That man. Yeah. Yeah, last night when Danielle was on, she was talking about the family, my sister. And there was a lot of what went on because we lived in the house. Actually, we had to move out of the house because the Dandies bought it. Can you hear
That's
me?
why you had
Yes.
to move out, because that's when they bought
Okay.
it. You moved out?
And we had to move out of the house because the Dandies bought it. And that was like in the early 70s. When they bought it in the 70s, that's when we moved out it. And I can remember my youngest years being in that house.
Well, didn't they ask your dad to buy the house?
Yes, but at the time he couldn't.
Right, right.
Yeah, because
Interesting.
he was in his them years. He was like in his 20s early, and he was working for all I know is Bushy. He was working for some guy, and then he went to Clark Brothers after that. But yeah, I can remember. Oh, there's a lot of things I can remember from the house. Like when I was little, I can remember because I remember Mom bringing Ron home, and I can remember Mom bringing Franny home, and we were raised in that house. My brother Ron, he's 2 years younger than me. Franny is 3 years younger than me. Because actually, last night when you were talking about how many kids my mom had, she actually had 15.
Right, that's what I thought. 15.
Millie and Sonny, she lost a baby. Then between my sister Pat and me, she lost a baby in a car wreck.
Okay. Oh my God.
And my mom says, "Yeah, Chuck, if that one would have lived, you wouldn't have been named Chuck. He would have been a little boy." But they never named him. Mm. And like you say, like the Dandy said, they brought in a priest. Well, Mom, we were part of St. John's.
Yep, me too.
And I can remember the old priest that used to be there. I can't remember his name, but I can remember what he looks like.
Father O'Mara.
You know,
his name was Father O'Mara.
Came in too, the young priest. But the old one, he came out to the house, and I think he blessed it maybe 2 times when we were young, because I can remember him coming out and him blessing it and leaving, and everything was supposed to be. Because any house we moved into, my mom automatically had the priest from the church come out and bless the house. It was every time, because I mean, we lived on Wagner Hill, we lived on the Dugan Road, we lived on Cherry Street, and then we lived on Rock City. Those are the homes I remember as a kid.
I was going to ask that because it's a Catholic thing you move into a new house, you bless it. So it wasn't blessed because Mom and Dad thought something's not quite right here. It was blessed just as a general house blessing. Bless the people in it, bless the lives in it.
I wish I could get the sound on my phone to come up because I can't hear you guys. All right, I got that all the way up. It's all the way up.
Charlie, look at your screen.
Yeah.
Can you see that I just put in the name of the priest?
You just put it in what?
I put in the name of the priest you're talking about.
Yes. Father O'Mara. Yeah, I remember. Yep, that was him. He was there forever.
Yeah. Yep.
Because when I went there at kindergarten, he was the head priest. And when I left there in 8th grade, he was the head priest.
Well, in those days, when they got somewhere, they stayed there.
Trying to see if I can get my Bluetooth's working.
I'm gonna I'll post comments to you, Charlie, so you can see what I'm saying, or anybody else might, if they have a question for you or something. There he went. Oh, look who's here. Look who showed up late. Turn on your microphone, Lane.
Good evening. I apologize for my tardiness.
Did you get stuck at the dump?
No, yeah, sort of, but no.
Oh, we lost Charlie.
Yeah.
Hi, Link. I was
coming
typing.
back.
I'm sorry.
Charlie, tell us the story about Johnny.
Okay. When we were little, we would see people walk around the house, shadows look like people walking around the outside the house. And every so often, we'd be sitting at the dinner table and the doors would be shut because where the table sits right now at that house, that right behind you would have been where my mom's wood stove was. And then as you look towards the stairway, off to your right is where the doorway is, right where it is now. But the one that's behind you, that's over here now, used to be in the front room to go out on that porch.
Yep.
And then what we would do is we'd be sitting there eating, and all of a sudden the door would be shut or locked, and all of a sudden the door would open up. My dad would look up and he wouldn't break us right. He'd just say, "Come on in, John, have a seat, eat dinner with us." And he'd go on eating. And then one time, I think it was maybe my sister or my brother asked my dad, "Who's John?" He said, "Oh, he's just a guy that lived here a long time ago." And he says, "This used to be back in the olden days when they had stagecoaches. This used to be an old stagecoach where they would stop and rechange the horses and get a meal, warm up in the wintertime, and then they would go on their way." And so he says, "Yeah." And John he had his wife and some kids. And, it come a real bad storm, and they ate the horses and the mules. They didn't have nothing else to eat. So John actually put his wife and kids out of their misery so they wouldn't, because it was a real bad winter, they wouldn't suffer.
Wow.
My dad says, well, he put them out of their misery, and nowadays he killed them. And he buried them on the property somewhere. I don't know where. And he says, that winter, he passed away from freezing to death.
Wow.
And starving to death because he had no food. And he just wanders around here checking the house, making sure everything's okay. And you would see a man and a woman walk by the kitchen window every so often. And then the funny thing is, you know how narrow there's stairways that comes downstairs. You know how narrow those are.
Yeah.
When I was little, I used to get up in the middle of the night, walk right across the stairway there, because where that new bedroom is, that used to be our bathroom.
Yep.
Yes.
And I'd walk across there, go to the bathroom, and come back, lay down on that top step, and end up waking up at the bottom of the stairs, not have a mark on me. And I think it was an every night affair. I'd not have a bruise nowhere, and I just roll down the stairs. They'd pick me up, and I'd get up and go back upstairs and go to bed. And there's some nights I would feel myself get up, and the next thing I know, I was waking up in the morning in my bed. And it was just really, there was a lot of things that went on. There was one time, because we had right back in the back of the house. Now, if I stood there, I wish I had some of the old photos of that place I think my sister, one of my sisters might have. But out where the pond is now, we had a little, you can't say it's a full barn, like a shed where we had our nanny goats and we had our chickens. And then way over there in that field that's straight across back on the other side of the pond, that big field, there used to be a great big barn there. And that whole side of the hill, all the way to the top, was where the guy that lived across the where if we stand out in the driveway and you look across, you can see the guy on the other hill.
Yeah,
He used to come over and farm all that. He'd hay it.
that's true. I know that to be a fact too. That absolutely where the Lindermans link,
Yeah.
where the Lindermans lived, he used to come over there and farm that area.
Wow.
Charlie,
Creaming.
I think you froze up. Charlie.
Still there?
Yeah,
I can hear you.
you're frozen.
Quit playing with me.
We stream every night, never have a problem. We bring on guests that used to be at the
Having
house.
all it wants doesn't. There we go. Everybody back. All right.
Can you
Now
hear
I'm
me
seeing
all right?
everybody because everybody started streaming.
Can you hear me?
But we had all kinds of things because right outside the kitchen door there, where the driveway come around to the back, we had right off just the other side of the window that's on that side of the house. There was a row of sea of lilac trees. And we used to put all our toys right there in that area because that's where we had to put them up at night. My dad was very strict. Everything had to be where he told you to put it or else. That's like when Danielle was talking about my older brother, Frank, Sonny, as we called him. He would do the coal. I didn't know this until I heard it from Danielle. But I can remember the coal. But then I also remember we used to have little boxes that my brother had to bring in. We'd bring in wood and put in those boxes because the wood burning stove my mom cooked on in the kitchen and the potbelly stove in the front room was what heated that house when we lived there. And there was nights we would fill it, get up the next morning, there would be no wood in those boxes, just like the coal. And my dad would figure, well, Mom just used all the wood because she'd get up first and get the stove going where the house was warm for us to get up and the whole 9 yards. But I can remember waking up and not having any wood in them and wondering, are we going to get in trouble? But that was, my dad was I'm from the old Paul, you know what I'm talking about. You were from that era.
Yeah.
But and where neat thing is our dogs were chasing our goat, and I was standing right in front of all the toys, the little tractor, the little tricycles and stuff that my dad found on the side of the road, brought home fixed for us to play with because we were real rich. With love, as my mom said, and God's love. But
that's what matters.
Don't come by, Nanny, come by. She hit me just below the chicken bone, right there. She hit me right there, and it threw me up over those toys into the hay that was right around those lilac trees. Wow. And I never got. The only thing is, it popped the bone out this way, right there. Of course, later on in life, my wife hit it and it popped back in. But that's beside the point. But little things, and then there used to be an old tractor. When I can remember, it was sitting there, and Dad turned and asked him if he fixed it, if he could use it, and the guy said, "Yeah, if you get it running, you can use it all you want." And my dad rebuilt that tractor. It was the ones with the old spoke tires, the wheels. They were the metal steel spoke, and the front ones were metal tires. And I can remember we used to plow across the driveway there, that field. We used to plow that, and up on top of the hill there was a field up there. We plowed. My dad and my brother plowed those, and we planted potatoes and stuff like that. So we had vegetables in our family. And I can remember one time my brother Frank, Sonny, was on the tractor, and he was plowing up on top of the hill, and the darn tractor went right to these trees and just did like this, trying to go up and down on that tree. And we were laughing at him so much. And finally, it backed off the tree, and he brought it back down to the house. But it was, we had some strange things. We dug a hole across the driveway there in the field, and we put linoleum down in the bottom of it and filled it with water from the well. And we were filling it the first time, and we were playing in it. And all of a sudden, I come running back towards the house. Sonny was in the pump house. My sister Pat was in the kitchen, and we had run extension cords. Back then, your extension cords aren't like your big, thick rubber now. They were the worst ones that when you touched them, you got tickled.
Oh my God.
Well, I heard Frank yell, "Tucking it off." I heard my sister Pat yell, "Okay, unplugging." And I grabbed it and went to unplug it. And when I did, I got up off the ground and I had a handprint right there. Like someone hit me and knocked me on the ground.
Wow.
And I got a knocked out of me. But yeah, I had a handprint. It looked like a red handprint right there from being hit.
Huh.
Then there was a time where I was up on the hill. We had a Tarzan swing, we called it. And I was up there all by myself, nobody around me. My brothers and sisters were out playing somewhere else, and I was Tarzan swinging. And all of a sudden, my hands come off the rope, and I'm hanging by 1 foot. And I'm trying to reach up to grab the rope, and I couldn't. And all of a sudden, I felt these hands pick me up to where I could grab the rope, and I got off the swing. Now, that's where you guys go up. That path that you guys go up, we used to take and build little carts and drive down them.
Now that sounds like
and
fun.
if you've seen those wheelbarrows, the baby buggy wheels with nails in 2x4s and a plank with a nail in it with a 2x4 and string, that's the kind of cars we built and drove down that hill. You'd think, of course, them days, we didn't worry about getting hurt. Because if you did, you just got up, brushed it off, and Dad would say, go on and play. You're okay.
No helmets. Nah, none of that stuff.
You used to jump out the windows, didn't you, Charlie?
Well, my older brother and Ron, my younger brother, that's a year younger than me, they took sheets and they would stand on over the kitchen area and they would jump off the roof trying to parachute off the house. They got in trouble for that. We would take kittens because what Dad would do is Dad would come out with steel, the tin, and all the way around the outside of the house, he would come out about a bale of hay wide, and he would put that tin up with 2x4, staking them in, and then he would fill that in with hay all the way around the house for insulation on the house for the wintertime. I don't know why, Hinsdale don't get that cold. Or snow too much. But we had a kitten, like they were talking, we called it the cold room. It was actually Mildred's bedroom downstairs off the kitchen to the right there near the door, what they got now. And you call it Mike's room.
Yeah.
That room, if it got over 32 degrees, you were lucky. I'm talking middle summer where it's 75 out and all that, windows open, air coming through the house, and you're sweating like crazy. Yeah, it was 32 degrees. We had a cat that had kittens. Well, we'd take those kittens and we'd go upstairs in the bedroom and throw them out the window. It was 5 points if they landed in the hay. You got 2 points if they hit the metal thing, and you got no points if they missed everything. Then we would run downstairs, grab the kittens, and go back up. I know people are going to really hate us for that, but,
Charlie, why do you think
you found all kinds of things? You never was in the house that much. You were outside playing with everything. And it was funny because, there's so many crazy things we used to do there. And, and like the one story where I told Paul that we were all outside playing except for Frank or Sonny and Ron. We were all outside playing. And all of a sudden, Pat went running into the house, ran upstairs. My older brother was showing Ron, my younger brother, how the cowboys used to hang people.
There you go.
And he wrapped the belt around in that closet, the bar that goes across, it's on the left side there. He'd taken a stool, set it in there, wrapped the belt around, and put it around his neck. And all of a sudden, the stool, Ron says, just flew to the opposite side all the way to the right side of that closet. And as it hit the closet, as it hit that wall, my sister Pat ran upstairs, grabbed my older brother and pulled him up picked him up and they took the belt off and around his neck. He almost hung himself. And she says, yeah, somebody outside told me to go help Frank. He was hanging himself. You know, he needed my help.
And
And
see,
I mean, there's a lot of little things that you don't realize, because it used to be that when you came into the driveway, came around the house, the driveway kept going
yep.
like a road, and it went around and up the tree line beside that field, and then up over the hill.
Yep.
Every summer, every spring, there used to be about 4 or 5 horses that would come up over the hill to our house. Why do you? I don't know why it was so cold.
Did your parents ever try to explain it to you?
You know, there was times so many things went on in that house that Mom and Dad would just say, it's just John playing tricks. Don't worry. But my sister Millie used to sleep in that room, and she never had Huh? Oh, I can barely hear you guys. But she used to sleep in that room and never had any problems. Or even she had a collie when we were little. She had a collie, and it would sleep in there in the bed with her, and there was no problem. But it was always cold. That's why we always called it the cold room. It was, I mean, and even to this day, I still, like Paul says, the house calls to you. You know, what does it say? As you're facing the pond, do you remember a small foundation on the right just before you get to the pond? Yes, that's where the shed was. That's where the little shed where our goats and our chickens, because I remember my dad used to take and cut the chickens' heads off and let them run around the yard.
Did it have a stone foundation, Charlie?
You know, old time. You know,
Did it have a stone foundation?
Huh?
Did that shed have a stone foundation, a stacked stone foundation?
Yeah, it wasn't much, but it had a stone foundation, just like the house. Because if you go down in the basement of the house, it's all stone foundation.
There you go.
And actually, as you go down them steps, when you get into the basement, if you look to the back wall, that's where the doors to get in the basement used to be.
Yeah.
There used to be doors right there, 2 doors that opened up like the old time houses you see on the haunted movies, that you see people open up and go down into the basement.
Yeah.
That's how we got in and out of the basement. Because I don't never remember going down the stairs to get into the basement. We weren't allowed. That was in Mom's and Dad's room in their closet. We weren't allowed in there. That was very off limits.
Mm-hmm.
I very seldom seen the front room to sit in it. You know, I don't even remember if we had TV back in them days when we lived there.
So, Paul, where would those bulkhead, if you want to call it that, those bulkhead stairs be now that Charlie's talking about in the basement?
The what?
So Charlie's saying he never used the stairs off the bathroom to get in the basement. There was a bulkhead or something out. There were stairs coming from outside.
Yeah.
Where would those stairs be in relation to how the basement is now?
If you came out the stairs, they came down, and then you come out, you walked out.
The side of the house.
To the left, to the back of the house.
To the left, okay. To the left, the back of the house.
To the right, because the kitchen was off to the left. When you got down to the bottom of them stairs.
Jonathan, right now that area they've closed it off. Dan repaired it by putting blocks in.
That's what I'm getting at. Okay, that's what I was picturing. Okay.
Now let me ask you a question.
Shoot, there was strange things like we used to dig up worms and put them on those doors, and then we tell my sister Franny that the worms are on, and she would go get the worms, put them in her buggy, and push them around, and then she would eat the worms. And we used to do it with frog legs and stuff like that, because over where the well is now, or where the old well is, you got that stream. That's where the well house used to be. I don't know if you know where the well is over there. It's now where the stairs go up. Off to the left side there, there's the well on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about, right, Paul?
Yeah.
I know
But I mean, there used to be little puddle water staying in that area, and we get frogs and stuff from that area. We did strange things. We were kids. We never knew better, you know. And it was just, I mean, so many different things used to go on. I remember when I was real little, I told my mom I was going to go hunting one day, and I went running. I left. I went up the hill, went all the way into the woods, walked around, come back and told my mom, yeah. I think I was 4 or 5. I said, yep, I caught a deer by the toe. And my mom used to laugh about that all our lives. She used to always bring that up every so often about me catching a deer by a toe. But I mean,
No, the concrete pad was for the furnace at one time, Deborah. Hey, Charlie, explain where your parents' room was.
okay, you go into the front room, right there, where that opening is off to the right when you're going into the front room, and then there's to go down into that used to be my mom's and dad's room. And then where the bathroom is used to be their closet. This is my granddaughter.
Hi.
And where the bathroom is now, that's where the closet was for that bedroom. The door for the bedroom was right there in the front room. Where it's open now, there used to be a door and a wall. And that's where mom and dad's bedroom was. Because that's probably why I've never seen those stairs, because our bathroom was upstairs. I was probably, in the 60s. I was born in 56. So in the 60s, and we left in the 70s. So I'm saying anywhere from, because I can remember starting kindergarten at 4 years old, having to walk that 1.5 miles or whatever it is, all the way out to the main road from the house. And then finally I was having bad leg problems, and the doctor said I had to quit school. That's the only school I ever went to. That's when I went to Hinsdale for kindergarten. They pulled me out. Then I went to St. John's a year later, because my birthday was in November. So they were trying to start me early, but my body wouldn't let me walk that distant every morning and every night coming home. So I was young. Was the Dandy home a farm once? Dairy? I don't know. That I don't know. If it was a farm, a dairy farm. Because I know all I can remember is the big barn and the guy coming over and cutting the hay with one of those sickles that was on the tractor that went down like this, and it would cut the hay.
Hello.
Hi,
Jade
Jade.
is
Sorry,
62.
I'm super late.
Mike, we looked at the tax records from the 1800s for the property, and they recorded a lot of interesting things. And they hayed, the McMahons hayed. They farmed, they grew oats, and they fed cattle and sheep.
In the office area,
at least according to the New York agricultural tax records. So it was an active farm for quite a while.
Okay.
Back in the day.
Hi, Jade.
Hi, Jade. I'm Jonathan.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Very nice
Jonathan
to meet you.
On top. Tina is blacked out because she's cooking dinner, and Link's down in the corner.
Cooking dinner sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Link comes to the house average 3 times a year from Wisconsin.
Okay.
He's not a paranormal investigator, except at the house, and he brings enough equipment for a total production crew.
I'm trying something to get them so I can hear.
I don't like to call myself an investigator. I call myself a researcher. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
I research, I guess.
hi, Danielle. Danielle's excited that you're here, she said.
So this is on Facebook, but I couldn't get onto there either because I'll share it onto my profile. So if you could send me like a link, then I can share it on my profile and then also share it on.
A link to the event?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Please.
There, now I can hear you guys better.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Testing.
Yeah.
You wear hearing aids, don't you, Charlie?
Yeah. Normally that's what gets me is normally they work with my phone. They're
Oh,
Bluetoothed in, and it
Technology.
didn't pick them up.
It's all good.
Yeah. I just improvise. Try these things. I'm trying to read. You're Judy.
Me, Jade.
Jade.
Yeah. Who?
Jade.
Jade. Okay. I'm Chuck. I used to live in the house back before the Dandies owned it.
Wow.
I'm the one who said, funny thing was when Paul first went to the house, and I guess he was in the attic and fell through the roof or something, or the roof fell in. He found one of my school cards or report cards, or a book or something that had my name on it. And then somehow my daughter heard about the Dandy house. She knew we called it the Hensdale house. And we knew it was haunted. And she said, "Hey, there's a guy named Paul, and he would, and he found your book, with your name in it, Chuck Halliday, and he was wondering if you were the, Mildred Halliday's little brother." And then I called Paul, and we got together and started talking, and that's when we started. That was how many years ago, Paul?
What do you think, Tina? 8, 9?
Probably about 8.
Yeah.
No, I didn't fall through the roof, Charlie. We were watching over the house that whole summer, and when we got there, the door had been kicked in, and there was a huge hole in the ceiling. So somebody fell through, and there your book was, right in the middle of the floor,
And papers.
and
Wow.
papers too.
It's funny how things are connected like that, and you can say it's random, but
It's not at all.
No,
Not even a little bit.
I think the house was calling out.
I think so too. It always does.
Yes, and I think because I'll be honest with you, every time we would ever get together, the family back up in New York, we would take a drive out to the house, just reminiscing, talking about how we used to ride down that hill, and before anything was done out there, we used to come in and pull in and just sit and talk, and then we'd leave. Never vandalized it. We never went inside. We just stopped to see what it looked like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Question for you about Sonny, or about your other brother. Somebody wants to know if he was in a trance or anything. He was just showing your siblings how they used to hang themselves.
Right. That's all he was doing. He was talking about they were talking about cowboys and Indians and how they used to hang the cowboys, the bad cowboys. And they got and Sonny says, "Well, this is how they did it, yada yada." And Ron said, "Yeah, Sonny hung himself." And that's how, and we just blew it off.
Yeah, I think I told that story to somebody that he was showing how they tried to hang themselves, and right away somebody hung themselves in the house. That's how the stories of the house get so misconstrued all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Pisses me off because they always refer it back to the Dandy family, which pisses Clara off.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because see, we were there before them,
Right.
and I love that house. I'll be honest with you. I still to this day would like to go spend the night there.
Well, come on up in June. Come up in June, Charlie.
We'll try. I won't guarantee nothing, but I can remember one time my brother Ron went to bed because we slept, because when we lived there, the big room upstairs, that was where the boys slept. In the little room that you guys call Mary's room.
Right.
Okay, that's where Pat and Franny slept. That was the girls' bedroom. The boys' bedroom was out in the main area. And we had one big king-size bed, queen-size bed that all three of us boys first started sleeping in, and then Dad got another bed. So Ron and I slept in the king, and my brother slept in the small bed. Then there was a bed in that room for my sisters. They slept in a small bed. I mean, we were rich.
Yeah.
They squeezed in there, didn't they?
Who slept in Mike's room?
Huh?
Who slept in Mike's room?
Mildred.
Okay.
That was Mitty's room. She was the oldest. She was old enough, and she had her own bedroom, and that's how Dad looked at it.
Okay.
Dad and Mom looked at it.
She didn't want to deal with you kids.
Yeah. Because I can remember one winter we were doing dishes because we used to have to carry water in, and in the top of the stove, the wood stove that Mama cooked on, at the very top there was what they call it was a tank, and my dad actually drilled a hole in it and ran a hose from there into the sink so that you could have hot water. And we used to come in, fill buckets and fill that up, and that's how Mom heated the hot water. And there was one time Mom was washing the little kids, the younger ones. I think it was Franny and Ron. She was giving one of them a bath, and somebody walked in front of the window. And Mom said, "Oh, there goes John checking the house," And we went outside, and there was no footprints in the snow nowhere.
That's the same thing that happened to the school teacher that lived there.
Yeah.
I talked to her about it, but she only talked for about 30 seconds, and that was the end of that. Can we, Jade can't be on too awful long. Can we get into...
You know what? It's fine. Just
No, let's get into Jay's story.
No, really. No, really.
Really? Let's get into your story. Come on.
Charlie's a good guy. I tell you what, he met us at the house, Jade, 8 years ago or whenever it was. And my God, what we spent 3 hours listening to you just jabber about the kittens going out the window and everything else, and your brother not trying to hang himself, but showing how it was done. Yeah. But
he was teaching.
It was a good time. We got to do it again before I die. I'm not going to be around for very long.
When you coming back, Charlie?
When
you coming back to New York?
Don't know. Because I don't make that trip. I don't make that trip up unless there's a reason. Normally, a lot of times. The last time I was up there was when we did Neil's ash spreading up at the Rock City Road house. Everybody call it the Halliday house, but on Rock City Road.
Yeah.
But my wife and I are both retired. We've got a small dog. He's only about 110 pounds. Great Pyrenees and some other breed that she found with her friend, and he got a forever home here. But we can probably look at this summer, and we'll just see what we can put together. We may come up.
Your dog loves the pond.
I'll give you the dates. I'll give you the dates in June. I'll message you and let you know. But
okay, yeah,
it'd be great. We could have a reunion up there or something because
we're
coming in to do an investigation, and maybe you'll stir up some old energies up there.
You never know. I mean, the last time when we were up there and we were with Dan, and they had a group there, and we were talking. He thought my brother Elmer was my wife's husband. My wife's Mary. Yeah, and we were up there, and we talked with them, and then we came back out. We didn't spend the night. They were spending the night, so I didn't want to interfere with their, I'll be honest with you. Since I've been back to the Hensdale house a couple times, now I love watching those kind of movies.
Yeah.
Those, it drives my wife crazy, but I enjoy watching and I told her, I said, now that I'm retired, I would love to become part of a paranormal team.
Well, do it.
I don't know anything about it. I'd have to hunt it up.
You'll learn.
Because even when I go to that house, I mean, there's sometimes when I was up there the last time, when we got there, when I walked in, because I did like my daughter did. When I get to the house, I say, John, I'm just here to visit you.
Yeah.
I'm not here to cause any trouble. I don't want any, problems with you. I'm just here to visit you. And I might get a little goosebumps every so often, but nothing. I don't feel like my daughter does.
Right. Right.
And I didn't know she felt like that until we went up there that time with you, Paul.
Mhm.
And when we got home, she talked to me about what she was feeling, and she didn't really understand. But then then later on, she talked to somebody else. And then when we were talking on the phone one time, she says, I know what it is now, Dad. And that's whatever she called it. Someone who feels that kind of stuff. But yeah. No, there she is.
Charlie Reiser had a question in chat, Paul.
Oh, did he?
4 or 5 up from that one.
There we go.
They would have to stop in Tennessee to grab Maya and Micah.
There's a question.
That would be on the way.
But yeah, don't worry about me having to leave or anything. I need to do this show because I feel like that house is kind of like part of my purpose in life. Like I feel like I don't know how your daughter feels about it, but I feel like that house almost kind of forces you to believe that almost like there's a heaven and a hell. It makes you believe in good and evil. Like I've had some of my most amazing spiritual experiences and worst. Like let's be real. So yeah, and I love that house. It's beautiful. It's breathtaking. Like I told Paul, in every season, I still have to. Dan just got like a kayak there, right? So I haven't done that yet. I need to go on the pond. But
Why do you think you need to go
want
on the
go in
pond, Jane?
sorry.
Why do you think you need to go in the pond?
Oh, just because I've never been. Because Dan just got kayaks there. It's part of in the summer you can like.
Oh, I didn't know if the pond was kind of calling you.
Well, I mean, I have my own theories of every single room or everything, whatever. Like, all right, for instance, Mary's room. Like, I think what contributes to that room being so active and just me as a medium and like I have psychic medium on my page, but honestly, I kind of want to drop the psychic part because I can't tell you what your future is. Like, I'm not going to tell you I can't tell you what your future is, but spirits do speak to me. And even when I don't want them to, they still do. Like, anyways. So, but, Mary's room. But what I think contributes to the haunting in that room is that I believe that there are remains of women specifically directly under it that, and I believe that at least one wants the remains to be dug up. So I'll just say that. And
do you think they're in the floorboards?
Under the floorboards, under
Oh,
Beth's old room.
So not the basement.
Yeah, under the basement. Oh no, well, yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
They're not in the dirt; they're in the floorboards.
Are you talking like under the kitchen area?
Well, I'm just talking about Mary's room specifically.
Like if you took up the floorboards in Mary's room, do you think that they're buried underneath that?
No. I'm just no. I'm talking like, I don't know. I just feel all right. So that's a good question. I don't know. Does it go up? Is it a portal? I don't know. I don't know.
Charlie,
Okay.
I don't think Charlie knows that Dan has had the underground radar detecting up there, and there are supposedly bodies in the back field by the pond. So,
Yeah, I've heard that. But I don't know.
There are currently like red flags to mark them. When's the last time? Yeah.
Because
Now, My question
Now
to you guys.
there's 3 new ones at the beginning of the pond too.
Right.
My question mainly probably would be for Charlie. You said
Three new
about
ones.
the shed that was next to the pond there in the back. Okay. Now you said it was a rock foundation.
Oh
Was
shit!
there anything underneath that shed that you know of? Could it have been something to hold somebody in? Could it have been something else? Or did you guys build that shed?
I just remember the shed being there, and that's what we had our goats and our chickens in. We never had. There was never a pond there when I lived there.
I think
That was all field. That
I
was
think that's
yard.
an old barn, right? That was an old barn.
It
right?
was an old shed, yes, because my dad kept repairing it for the goats so it'd have a nice, comfortable place to live, and redoing the chicken coops and stuff because we raised chickens to eat. And we had, because I can remember going out in the morning to milk the goats, so I had milk for my cereal.
Because it sounds hollow. It sounds hollow underneath. That's why that's why I'm asking that, because I was wondering if they might have put people underneath there, if it could have been part of an Underground Railroad stop where they would hide them in that shed underneath, or what?
Charlie,
That's possible.
I never knew anything about Underground Railroad. I didn't know that. I knew since now I've learned what everybody, kind of what's been said. I just remember what my dad used to tell us.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Here's a video of the area that I'm talking about. You can see in the video where it's located when I move the camera around. But this is where we found this new foundation.
The footing goes around here.
Well, Paul, what did
Wait, go
Alex?
ahead. Do it again, right there.
What did Alex Tanis tell you?
I'm sorry.
What did Alex Tanis tell you about all the murders that happened there?
There were no murders there. What he said was he felt his impressions were that the house had been a stagecoach stop, and that the innkeepers, would rob and then kill the people and shove them in the crawl space. And all the years since then, I'm thinking, why in the hell would they put them in a crawl space when you got all that land to bury them on?
Right.
Because you would have to lift them up to put them into the crawl space.
And then you'd have to go across those stairway. Because I can remember watching my dad walk the stairway, those two little very narrow boards on each side of the stairway to get to that attic, that crawl space over the kitchen. I can remember watching my dad cross over there to put stuff in there. It wasn't that easy. So if you're trying to take a body and put it in there, no, I don't think that would have been very difficult.
Yeah, but if you're trying to hide a body, you're gonna go the extra mile to hide a body, I guess.
Yeah.
The only reason I question that what he's showing you is because you talked about the road that led up into the woods.
Uh-huh.
And you know that the locks for the Erie Canal were there down by Hensdale. What better way would they have to transport somebody but go up someplace where they wouldn't see? And then I look at this foundation, I'm like, it's empty underneath. You can hear the hollowness underneath. You literally can hear the hollowness.
You can't.
There's nothing.
When you bang on it, it sounds like a void space.
Yeah.
Let me show you so I can show you on this video. Right where it is on the screen now.
Uh-huh. Now, if I was standing in the back of the house,
on the video.
If I'm standing in the back of the house,
but over here, it sounds hollow.
Would that be up across towards the pond to the right, looking that way? Is that where that foundation is?
Well, watch. Yes. You'll see when I pan the camera.
Okay. Because if I'm not mistaken,
but then the wall is up here and comes down to another level.
No, the barn was way up in the middle of that big field.
Oh, I thought it was where the pond was.
Really?
No, it was up in the middle of the big field.
I thought it was there too, in the pond.
The footing goes.
Let me go. Let me go to the other. Here it is. Here it is. Now you'll see where that is.
Clara, this is
I turn the camera toward the
this
house so you
is
can
you can see
adjust
there's a
where it's
wall
at.
here, and this whole area.
Look at the shape
Let
of
me get
it.
over here.
Shaped
This
like
is
a damn
squared off.
triangle.
This is
Did it
this
cave
is
in?
These bricks
Creepy.
are all set here. Now let me show you in reference to where the house is.
There's the house.
There's the house. Here's what they just found that they're digging up. And when I get over here, and here's the pond over here. Out there, all the graves are supposed graves are. There's flags. I know you won't be able to see them on here. It's raining out here. I don't want to get too.
So that's where, in relation to the house and the pond, that's where that's at. It's a very small foundation.
So is that your chicken coop, Charlie?
I think the chicken coop was closer to the house.
Oh.
And that was more like in the field behind the chicken coop. That what you're seeing there, because I don't remember any kind of. I remember there was rocks underneath the, under the chicken coop that they put the foundation on, but I don't remember a triangular. It was square, and there was 2 stalls on the right side of it as you looked at it from the house, and then on the left side we had the chicken coops for all the chickens that Mom and Dad had there.
The house I lived, Kelly said she didn't think New York had Underground Railroad places. My house at 408 East State Street had a pit underneath part of the house. It's a huge house, 2,400 square feet. I think we bought the house, and there was a pit underneath the back area of the house, which was a full tunnel all the way to the river, which is very nearby. And they would take the slaves out that way and send them off into Pennsylvania. That's in the history of the house.
So Charlie, I'm trying to orient myself here. You're saying that where the pond is now, when you were a kid, there was not a barn.
That was field.
That was not a barn. That was field.
That was a field. Now, as the driveway went up, where there's trees now, there's used to be an old roadway.
Yeah.
And as the roadway turned to go up the hill along the bank, right there where the hill goes up, that on the left side was a big field. In that curve, you'd say maybe 100 yards from that curve into the field, that's where the big barn you're talking was. There was a great big barn in there that the guy kept hay in. That was his hay barn. Then closer to the house, I'll say from where the house was, it might have been 50 feet, 50 yards away from the house was where the goat barn and the chicken coops were. Because it wasn't that far out. You actually walked further out where they put the pond. Because I don't remember a pond ever being wet, mucky, watery area, yes, but not a whole pond.
No, the pond was put in by
Later.
The Reese family put the pond in after you moved out.
Yeah.
But before the Dandies moved in.
Right.
Can I respond to Mike Johnson and Kelly? If you know anything about the Underground Railroad, well, I love history, so I'm a history person. The Underground Railroad, even though we were free states, we were still trying to help the slaves get across to the other side to save them from having to go back down south. So they did have Underground Railroads through all the northern states where they would still hide them.
Yeah.
And that's why I said Hensdale might have been a good place. That's why it just hit me, because you know what? You have all those waterways that they could travel next to, all the wooded areas that they could travel next to.
That's so far for Underground Railroad to do any connections with the rivers or anything. That's just too far away, though, for an Underground Railroad. Anything.
The Underground Railroad wasn't though a railroad.
Huh?
And they traveled across a lot of different land. Like she just said, somebody said about the church. There was a church in Michigan.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, if you're willing to get free, you're willing to go through anything. I mean, come on. We can look at the border states and we can see that already. You're willing to do what it takes in order to get free.
Yeah. Jade, when did you first feel you had this gift of what you're doing, of what you can do, or what you can?
I was really little, and my grandmother actually has it too, so she encouraged it. She started taking me to Lilydale when I was like 16. Once I finally moved here from Toronto, so um,
Oh, you're
yeah.
Canadian.
But even before then, yeah, it's just always called me, so I've accepted it. But
So, Jay, what kind
yeah.
of? I'm probably messing this up, so I apologize in advance. What kind of abilities, sensitivities do you have? I think it's fascinating. What is your gift?
Well, like I said, I can't tell you your future.
No?
It's more just like ghosts talk to me, ghosts. I think my sole purpose is to help souls cross over. I think that's I think when I go to places like Hinsdale, I go in with um with like a pure motive, and I think that to do that and I think that a lot of souls there um do want to cross over, and um here, give me a sec, I'm all over the place. um and since I go in there with a pure motive, I sometimes get backlash from entities that maybe are negative. And I was telling Paul, I've been scratched, I've been burned by spirits. Yes, they can touch you. Um, it's honestly, I've had points in my life that have just been turned upside down because of what I do. But
Mm.
yeah,
So,
um,
so when you go to a
but
haunted location, Jade,
they
how do
are
you?
they are not all like that.
Okay,
But like I said, at the same time, Hinsdale is like, I don't know. It's like, I will call it a home away from home. Because like I said, I've had some of my best life experiences there at the same time.
Do you feel a strong negativity there? One particular entity that I won't say leads the others, but can be more powerful than anything else that's there?
The same one that doesn't like you either.
Yeah.
that's what he was getting at.
Okay.
Because you are a protector, right?
I guess, yeah.
I believe that you were a protector of the Dandy family when they were afraid,
Yeah.
and
That's what
whatever
they tell me.
negative entity was there didn't like that, and that's why you felt that. And I get that too.
Clara
Hmm.
Clara kind of said something to the same effect, that you were always there for us. You came up with Tim, who married Beth, and they're still married today. We used to go up every night after work and spend the night there, even though it really upset my wife. What are you doing, Link? You keep popping in and out like a damn jack in a box.
Yeah, I do apologize.
Did your thing go down?
But let me finish answering
Yeah.
him first. So, all right. So
Yeah.
I feel like, all right, how do I put this? All right, say you take your life. Say you get stuck here, stuck. Say you maybe your soul stuck here, and you don't necessarily regret that decision, but you want your story told, and I don't know, you have some unresolved trauma that you went through in your life. Is that my phone going off? It's like vibrating. I think it is. I guess God sends a medium, and I know in my life I've been through trauma, so I'm able to relate to spirits like that.
Hmm.
And So I go to those places, and I guess I have helped at least one soul crossover, I know. Hopefully a few more, but so yeah, when I go in there, I know that I'm protected, and even though I get retaliation at times, I know that it's my purpose, and also to help other people with grief, speak to their loved ones who have passed on, and yeah.
So do you think spirits can kind of come and go?
But I'm
Like
also a researcher, so and I love history, and I feel like Hinsdale will forever. Well, we're going to be unveiling history forever
I
and
think
ever.
so. I
And I
think
also there are a lot of remains there that are going to be dug up. Let me tell you, that are at least 3 females, I'll say, under Beth's room, but Dan's not
wow.
just going to go dig the floor up. But yeah, I
So
could be
you
wrong, but ghosts tell me otherwise.
that's I'll tell you what. I mean, the house. Besides the and I don't. I will say folklore and the rumors, because the true story. Well, the true story of the Dandy family has been just torn to shreds. Nobody knows the story except for the family, myself, and 2 other people that were there all the time. I was there for a year and a half. If my band wasn't playing, I was at the Dandy house from morning till night, till it was time to go home. And even sometimes then, I didn't go home. But the videos, Jade, that come out all the time lend a an absolute farce to everything the Dandies went through.
mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Mike died in the house. I just saw 2 guys talking about that. I posted on their page very nicely. They deleted my post. I wrote again to them. Then I emailed the one guy. I said, don't ever do that again. Don't take my post down. At least, question me so I can tell you who I am.
Won't go through my phone. Won't go through my ears.
Was. But I mean, the Dandies lived there for a year. They lived there for 3 years. They lived there for 5 years. And people just, I mean, they it's like the story that goes around the room, Jay. They can't. The 15th person is going to tell you something totally different from the first person.
Hmm.
And plus, it does bring up the hype too. Make it a more interesting story.
Sure.
I can go to the house and sit there, and I know I don't know if I'm empathic. I know I'm not psychic in any way. But since a kid, since I was a child, I knew something was going to happen. I just never knew what it was. But I knew when it bothered me. I mean, I would tell my mom and dad I'm having a goosey. And my cousin straightened me out many years later, who was psychic, who was born with a caul over her face. And she said, what you were trying to say is you were getting goosebumps because of something happening. I can go to the house and immediately know it's not a good day. And 90% of the time when I go there, it's a fine day.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly a whirlwind comes in and you know it's there. And I think,
Oh yeah.
oh, I just got goosies. You know when it's the bad one. You know, Jade, when I was in the house on the 17th, I was going to spend the night. That was my 50th anniversary of meeting the family.
Wow.
August 17th, I went in happier than hell that I could do this alone. I've only been in the house up until I met Link. I'd only spent 3 nights there, 2 nights because I was snowed in. I couldn't get
Mm-hmm.
out. I spent the night, I was on the porch, and I got this extremely powerful smell of perfume. It just like somebody sprayed it in my face. Immediately, Jade, tell me why I felt like crying. And I was happy, but I felt like crying. I got up, I was live, so everybody was watching me do this. I went into the kitchen, no smell. I went into Mike's room, no smell. So I thought maybe somebody was outside the window. I had the window open right next to me. It was 9 o'clock at night, quarter to 9. And then when I walked into the kitchen where Dan has all the hoodies hung up, it hit me again really strong. So I started smelling all the hoodies, every one of them, to see if maybe a waft of perfume that was on the hoodie came through the house. Nothing. Nowhere except those two spots, and it dissipated after an hour or so. I was being visited
See you later.
by something good, by
Mm-hmm.
something very nice. But at quarter to 12 that night, I knew it was time to get out of there. Something that foreboding, horrible feeling. It was not apprehension because I don't have that there. I've been in the
Right.
house over 5,000 times. It doesn't bother me, but I know when it's bad.
Right.
I just wish I could control or connect when that thing is there. And I call it a thing because he's nasty.
How do you want to connect? Because I mean, didn't you try? I mean, with
I
when the
want a
dandies.
confrontation. I want a confrontation. I want a full blown confrontation like I had in the driveway 9 years ago. I almost got knocked out by air, and I don't believe in that crap. But this son of a bitch hit me so hard. They all saw it. Tina was there in her van. I was standing next to her van. And before this happened, I got shoved and I ran back into the room, into the van like a schoolroom sissy. Got back out with anger, started harassing the house again. I was really giving it to it. And that's when I got punched and got hit so hard. A friend of ours that was with us said it looked like my feet left the ground. But I ripped the mirror. I broke her mirror off the van, and we didn't go back up there for how long, Tina?
Couple
I wouldn't,
weeks.
I wouldn't go up. I was scared to death. And I was
Wow.
scared to death that it came home with me, but it didn't. And I don't believe that kind of power exists in the afterlife, but I guess it does. Or on the other hand, maybe it was demonic. I don't know. I don't buy that shit. Tony Sparrow told me it was demonic. I told him it was full of shit.
See, for me, I don't really have any bad moments. I had
No, you
one.
have great times up there. They love you.
I just,
I want to go
I
up
don't
with
know.
Jade.
I mean, for me, I believe that, there are evil humans, definitely.
Mhm.
There is pure, unadulterated human evil in this world for sure. But I also believe, for me, in, you know, demons and angels and stuff like that. And I believe that angels can intervene on our behalf. Oh, someone says I've never smelled perfume at the house. That's so cool.
Oh
Paul.
God, it was so strong when I smelled it. I mean, I immediately wanted to burst into tears. It just hit me in a very odd way, a happy way, but I maybe I don't know, maybe the emotions hit me so much because it was from nowhere. And the only thing I've ever smelled in a house is we smelled
Vicks.
Vicks one time. We smelled Vicks, and Laura used to put Vicks on herself all the time.
Yeah.
Hi, Denny. Denny Blair is here.
So Jay, do you try to establish kind of an etiquette when you go there to communicate with the spirits? Are there
Um.
are there things you just don't do? Not the dandy house in particular, but anywhere you go, when you ghost hunt, when you research, when you experience, when these spirits try to connect with you somehow. Um,
What do you mean?
what are your kind of your rules for interacting with them? For example, Tina. I don't want to speak for Tina, but I think it was Tina said when she goes there, she says, "Hi, friends."
Yep, I always say, "Hi, friends, I'm back again. You gonna come out and visit with me?"
And they do. They do.
Oh.
They really do.
Mm,
So when you walk into a location, Jay, do you do anything like that? Do you try to do anything to?
well, like I also go to Wildwood Sanitarium a lot. Have you been there, Paul?
No,
Have you guys been there?
I didn't even know it existed, to be honest
In
with you.
Salamanca?
Yeah, I didn't even know about it.
Totally different vibe. I love it there. It's like a place of healing, obviously, and um, so when I go there, I'm in a different mindset. I don't know. I don't feel the need to you know, angels, Jesus, please. protect me and, you know, make sure nothing evil follows me home because I have children. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I, you know, okay, God, if I'm meant to go to Hinsdale, and by the way, I won't go unless I feel like I'm supposed to.
No.
Yeah. Because, like, why? I mean, I don't know. So basically, I won't not pray for protection for my children, I guess,
Uh-huh.
after Hinsdale, because I know. And like Paul in his book, I don't know if I told you this. You know how you said that your burners went on,
Yeah.
and that's something that happened to the dandies?
Yeah.
I check them all the time. I know that they are powerful. And like I said, I've been scratched, burned, assaulted
Yeah.
because of that house, but crazy, crazy. But not even there, like at my house, because of spirits from there. I think, and others that I'm sure have followed me and my own dumb decisions at times. You know, I'm not perfect.
Jade, Ken, with all of the investigations that happen at the house and people, who's here, the same old questions, which I think they're all textbook questions anymore. It's the same thing. But do you think these people are able to conjure up more spirits to come into that property, the land, the area?
Sure.
Because I've always felt that what I experienced, I guess the personal aspect, the personal feelings that I used to feel with the Dandy family, I don't feel today, except when that miserable so and so comes out. It's the same strength. I guess. I guess
Mm-hmm.
they're the same thing. There are different things that can be the same strength, but I always know when it's bad, and it always seems to surprise me. It hasn't been that many times. I mean, I've been there, like I say, over 5,000 times, and I've had only maybe 15 experiences that I would say, "Holy cow, what just happened?" Happened with Link one night. And it always seems to be when we go to bed and we just put a video up. He was snoring in the bedroom, and I was snoring in the main room, and you could very clearly hear 9 footsteps come up loud up the
Wow.
steps. And when I watched the video, I listened to it. I said, "What the hell?" And I watched it back over and over, waiting for something to come around the corner at the top of the stairs, but there was nothing there, not visible. But there was something in the house that night, and it was kind of scary.
Wow, that's interesting that you said that because remember, I think Link and I had commented on the last video that I think whatever's there is ancient, and I
Hmm.
think, you know, there was an Indian massacre there,
Mm,
supposedly on the land,
I
correct?
haven't found any.
mm.
I haven't found a bit of information. I have researched every uh, just about everything government wise. And this, if there was an Indian massacre there, it would be in the records, and there is nothing.
I do believe
Absolutely.
that the land was cursed. I do believe that, and I
I
believe
think
that.
so too. I think
Mm-hmm.
so too.
Mm-hmm. And then it feeds, it feeds, it feeds, and it.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. And then human evil came into it, and it just recipe
Yeah.
for disaster. And like I said, a family can never live there again. Like Dan did the right thing with it. It I think a
I
family
think
Now
should
I'm
so
going
never.
to
too.
ask you a question that they asked me, and I'll see if I got the same answer from you. Do you think if the house would have been demolished, that it would change anything?
Oh,
No,
Because I said no. I think it's the
mm-mm.
entire area around it and in it. If you took the house to the ground, it might actually make them more mad.
yeah, you're right.
Because that's the way I feel. I feel that
Mm-hmm.
because I was the one the night on a Tuesday night had the feeling that something was wrong. I needed to go up there, and
She
I
wouldn't.
pressured Paul to go up
She
there with
wouldn't
me
leave me alone, and we wouldn't go up on a school night. We wouldn't.
because
Not.
I work in a school, so I have to be up really early.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to go, and I was going to go without anybody. That's how persistent I was. I was
Which
ready to
would
go by
never
myself.
happen.
And when we got up there, all the windows were out, the wiring was gone, the ductwork was gone. The heater had been pulled. Everything was demolished.
I'm getting freaked
And
out. I'm hearing stuff, guys.
And they were getting ready to put that into the ground on Thursday.
KG
Wow.
Reese, we called KG Reese to get the story right. We wanted the absolute. When we got up there, everything was gone, as she said. The ductwork was laying on the front porch, and I called the state police. Uh, Mark Jones, Trooper Jones, was at the house within 10 minutes or so. He was up there quickly. He's shining around. He said, "What's going on, Paul?" I said, "Somebody just demolished the whole damn house." He came in. He's walking through the yard. He's shining at the house. He shines up at the roof, and the chimney was gone. He said, "Paul, this is not vandalism. This is pre-demo." I said, "What are you talking about?" Because we had already okayed a movie production to go through with Bill Connolly from Canada, with Kenda Reese, who was Donna Reese's daughter. And when I called them Wednesday, she said, "Oh, I don't have any idea why anybody would demolish that much stuff." So she called KG. I talked to KG, and he was deep sea fishing in Florida. He said he was having the house raised that Thursday, 2 days later. So the house bugged her enough, or something within the house, to save itself.
But then we found out this year, just recently, that when we talked to KG, he never had it pre-demoed though.
No.
He was just going to push it right into the ground.
Which is what they do anyhow, generally.
So somebody else had vandalized it, and he was going to destroy it.
But he was going to destroy the house. So somebody else was there, either to strip the wires, take out, take the copper out and everything, because the house had been vacant since Flo passed away. And we were watching over the house every single night from 8 o'clock until 4 in the morning, 4:30 sometimes. And Donna Reese asked us to watch over the house, so we did. We trespassed more people out of there that live in Olean. From everywhere. They were coming from Buffalo. Remember the kids from Buffalo? Or 13 kids from Buffalo came down. Nicest kids in the world. They just wanted to see a haunted house. But it's amazing that there's so many people in law enforcement that won't step on the property.
But I had that feeling that night. I had to go. There was no choice in it. And I was ready to go by myself.
And Tina
Finally
wouldn't go.
Gave in.
Yeah, she would not go to that house by herself, but she threatened, "If you don't go, I will." So I think the house saved it. And
we should plan a visit together.
Jeff says he believes the house, the land is cursed too.
So I mean if we proposition that the land is cursed, by whom and why? I know it's probably more of a philosophical question, but Native Americans cursed it? Why would you curse your own land?
Possibly. Well, for me, from my research, I got from have you heard of the woman named Elizabeth there, Paul? Has anyone heard of the woman named Elizabeth there?
Elizabeth McMahon?
Supposedly.
It has been, the name has come out before. Elizabeth McMahon did live in the house for years.
I believe this was tied to the hanging tree. But she comes through a lot for me and literally is the kind of the last reason why I was going there and doing research.
And Alex said if we looked very closely, Alex said we would find a couple of graves near that tree in that field at the end of the field. The big field as you're going up McMahon on the left-hand side before you turn toward the house. Alex said there were 2 graves in that area. And Mike, I really want to get the metal detectors out and start looking for anything. Because that's private property. Dan's trying to buy it. It's owned by somebody who doesn't live here. and I don't have a problem going there and digging. I'll do it. If I get a fine, I get a fine.
But I think that based on my research that she was kidnapped before, like way before the Dandies, and she told me that she had family, like a brother in Olean, and was traveling and got kidnapped, and her remains are on the property. So I don't know, like Alex Tannis said, who was there with Father Al. I really believe that a lot of it has to do with way before the Dandies. Like I don't know. I
Well,
wish
go ahead.
I really wish we had more concrete history on the place, not just mediums and stuff. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's tough to get history on some of the stuff up in that area.
Well, I
Father
mean, we're finding
Al,
bodies, so that's
yeah,
something, I
and
guess.
Father Al was contacted by a priest once he found out that Father Al had been involved with a house cleansing up there. The priest who lived in Buffalo contacted Father and said he had done a cleansing of the house 50 years prior to that in the 20s.
Yeah, a lot of people
So,
don't know that. Yeah.
he was a very young priest and he was called in to just give a house cleansing. Father Al did use the word exorcism when he was there, but of course he wasn't exorcising a house, but he used the word just the same. The other story is that Father Al got permission from the church. No, he did not. He got permission from the Vatican or any place else to perform an exorcism. He
Right.
did it. He did it for Clara, and Clara and I talk generally once a week. I haven't talked to her in 2 weeks right now, but uh, she's 86 and just doesn't want her story to be messed up anymore. But as far as the house is a story in itself. The land is a story within itself. I mean, there are different entities all over. Clara's story, whatever happened long before Clara came in, and what's happening after Clara, because it's worse now than it was then. It
Yeah.
can be.
Well, Charlie,
Mm-hmm.
do you mind? Did you share anything about what your daughter felt? Did I miss anything, or did you feel comfortable sharing? Or
Honestly, she was talking about some things. She just said she felt when we talked, she said she felt very peaceful there. She didn't feel, like she was being, pushed around or bothered really. And it was more like, you know, she said when she was walking up and down that path where they got the walkway going up the hill and stuff, that something occurred there. But she talked to him last night about that, and where she felt like someone was like squeezing her heart, her chest, and everything while she was walking. You know, my family was very much, because my dad was 3/4 Indian. He was Seneca and Iroquois, and he was also Dutch German. So when we were raised, if we came around a Indian burial ground or anything like that, we were very much taught, you do not disturb it, you do not go on it without a offering or a gift. And I didn't know that all the way around the Hensdale house that it was Indian land. I knew it was Indian land a long time ago, but not, the way they talked about it. And I don't know if it's true or not, but I can remember she just said that, she felt, now my oldest granddaughter said she felt a little bit, but not that much. So I haven't really sat face to face with Danielle and sat down and talked to her about the house that much. I heard last night because I happened to get on just to watch it because I'd seen that the Hinsdale house was on. So I would pick it up and I'll go when I walk through my Facebook, and if it's on, I sit and watch it. What's
I'm
going
gonna
on?
I'm gonna back out for just
No,
a
I'm
minute.
Ollie. I'm going to back out. I'll bail out. But
You're bailing out,
yep,
John?
I
nice to
will.
meet you.
Very
All right,
nice
Nice to
meeting you,
meet you
Jade.
too.
Have a good night.
Bye, Jonathan.
You
Thank you,
too.
Jonathan.
Keep up the conversation. It's really good. Keep it moving. No, but the more
maybe
you talk
maybe
about
in
something,
June
the
if
more
we
you-
get up there, Jonathan, I'll meet you.
Let's
You know,
all
Charlie,
plan
that would be
something.
great. I'm a teacher, so hopefully in June I'll have some free time, but we shall see. Okay. Good night,
Good
everybody.
night.
God
Thanks,
bless.
Jonathan.
Night, John.
So that's interesting. That's another point. The energy outside is different for me than inside the house.
And that's what she said too.
I feel safer outside
I gotta go
every
back and
time.
get the link.
Every time.
Did
The
you
Native
see my
American,
2 pictures?
Sorry?
I was talking to Paul. Hold on, I'll send it to him.
The
Yeah,
Native
let me-
American influence, I feel safer. I go outside and I can breathe.
Give me a second, Danielle. I'll get you in here, but right now I want to share the screen that Tina sent here. This is the hanging tree. Let me make it full screen. It's probably going to be hard to see on phones, but this is the hanging tree, and if you could see this up close, this looks like a person's face in here, and you can actually see the rope right there. You can see a rope going across.
Oh,
Well,
yeah?
a rope. The eyes are there, and they look kind of buggy because they probably are. But she
Wow.
took that picture. She took a bunch of pictures of the tree one time, and that's what came out. Was there another picture here, Tina?
Yeah, it was. I sent you a couple. There you go. Do you see
that
the image by the tree?
Yeah.
By the balloons?
See, Paul, when we lived there, I never knew anything about the hanging tree. We never heard anything of that story.
Yeah, that's another thing that came out of Father Al. And since then, it's been kind of, where the hell am I here? Oh, I gotta put the link in for Danielle.
Father
Let me-
Al or Alex Tannis?
Alex Tannis was the one that said that was a woman who was pregnant out of wedlock, was stoned to death, and then hung there.
I agree with a lot of what he said, for sure.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to find a link to the darn. Let me get it here so I can bring Danielle in. She can certainly. No, Paul, you're not replying. You're copying, you dummy.
I'll be right back.
Copy link address. We're gonna be there for 4 days, right, Link? I mean, you're gonna be here 4 days.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday,
Um,
Saturday, Sunday. What the hell?
I, for once, do not have a plan to go there currently. Usually it's like every few months, but I don't know. Just
I gotta come over here and get this.
How far away do you live, Jade?
like an hour away.
Oh, that's not bad.
Not at all.
In the summer.
I don't know. Want to go. I just been focusing on like mental health and kids and stuff. But next time I go, I just want to like be ready, I guess. Some entities are tied to the past and present stories of all, from Melinda. That's what I talked about. Yeah, lots of things welcomed in for sure. And that mirror in the closet with all the scrying and conjuring things up for sure. Oh, people are inviting all sorts of things in. Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
That's probably a. Where is she? I heard a boop. Oh, there she goes.
But that
What's up with
thing,
your hair, Danielle?
whatever. Oh,
Hi, sweetheart.
Hi.
hello.
You grew it out, huh?
Yeah, I kind of grew up about 4 inches off just about a month ago.
Mm.
Yes, I can feel spirits around people.
Explain
I don't always
to
tell them though.
Explain to the young lady what you felt when you were up at the Dandy House, Danielle.
No, which time?
The time you were talking about last night.
Oh, when we went up for when Maya's graduation.
Yeah.
I arrived later than everybody else because I was at work, and when I got there, the first place I wanted to go was into the basement. Paul about freaked out when I said my first spot was the basement. I went down to the basement. I didn't feel anything really down there. Um, I came up and then I went up into the path, and I got about halfway up the path and I turned around. And when I turned around to look down at my past husband, um, it had felt like somebody had reached into my rib cages and was squeezing my lungs. Like I couldn't breathe. I started to get lightheaded, faint, and then I just was turned and looked behind me, and I saw something white behind me. So I whipped around real quick the other way to look, and there was nothing there.
Wow.
As soon as I came down off the path, I had no, like, the pressure on my lungs had gone away. I had nothing there. Went down, went back into the house. Had really nothing happened really as far as in the main part of the house. Michael's room, which I was told, I've always referred to as the cold room.
As the cold room?
The cold room.
Okay.
Because
That's from my era of living there.
Yeah.
I call it the poltergeist room.
Well, see, when my father and his family lived there, they called it the cold room because no matter what, that room had always stayed cold. So here we are, June. I go into that room and I'm sweating. And as soon as I got into the room, it was like instantly freezing, goosebumps. And it felt like somebody was hugging me. I did not feel any sorrow or anything before entering the room. And as soon as I got into that room, I just instantly burst into tears. Like it was complete and total sorrow, like sympathy. They were looking for comfort.
Are you an empath by any chance?
Yes.
Excuse me. Okay. Because
Me?
I've had similar there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I feed off of other people's energies horribly and I hate it, but it also sometimes it benefits me in ways.
Sure.
And so as the spirit was holding me, all I could do was say, I'm sorry for what you've been through. I sympathize with you. I am so sorry that you are in so much pain. I wish there was something I could do to help you or to help release your pain or sorrow. And as soon as I said all that, it was like it instantly had released me. The tears dried up instantly. And I got warm again.
Yeah, that's one of the rooms. That's one of the only rooms that I've actually been attacked in. Yeah. I was investigating. Oh, sorry.
Never been attacked, thankfully.
Well, I was investigating and we had like a good night. It was like normal, right? 3 a.m. The rest of the team was in the living room sleeping. I'm in Mike's room by myself under where the Ouija board is. I get hit with 3 cold blasts of air to my chest hard. And I wake up and I start like vomiting. Okay. Like random. Okay. Not even sick. And I start like, all I can hear in my head is kill yourself and join the bodies beneath you. 7 a.m. I leave the house early. I'm like, I'm out of here. I call Dan. I'm crying. It was like the mental, like I call that an attack personally.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Jade, the only reason I
Little
would
bit.
think that they would have attacked you is because you were there with investigators.
Well, no.
Because
Well,
I've
that and
noticed I've
It's told
noticed
me
when
not.
they have investigators there, people are being scratched, burned, because they're feeling like the spirits are feeling like they're being attacked.
It told me not to come back, and I did. It told me not to come back because it doesn't like me because I helped souls cross over to heaven. It said don't come back, and I did. So,
See, I think it.
oh well.
I think that's the man in the basement.
Yeah, I think Dan's like, yeah, he's like, it's not there all the time, but when it is, it's an asshole. I'm like, yeah, a
Yeah,
little bit.
when my oldest and I went with her friends up for the one tour with the specialist, I think it was her name was Kat. She went down in the basement and she was attacked physically, mentally, verbally by this man. He
Oh
does
yeah,
he does not like women whatsoever.
right.
And that's what was weird because like I said, when I went in June, the first place I went was the basement
Mm-hmm.
and I got nothing. So I think every time I go up there, I have a guardian angel.
Well, see, that's another thing. If it hates women, I think that's why also another reason it might not like Paul too, because like I said, Paul is
Oh,
definitely like a
protector.
protect. Exactly.
Yep.
Yep.
Maybe that's the reason why I don't want to be down in the basement.
Well, then
I've never, in
maybe
all the
I
years
wouldn't
that I've
want you
been
going
there, I've
down
never
there
gone
either.
into that basement.
I'm more
I've
scared of
always,
spiders down there. I don't know, but I feel like a lot
no,
of like
not
just
me.
death.
I feel like I just can't. I can't go down there.
See, and that's why I wish there was a lot more history to be
Hmm.
found on that place before my family lived there in the 60s, because I think there are a lot of stories that have been, or folklore that have been told, that could very possibly be true.
Right.
Like I've heard of folklore that there was a man who lived there during the stagecoach era, and in the wintertime he ended up he was robbing and murdering women and making their husbands watch while he was raping and murdering their wives in that basement.
Hmm. I
So,
believe it.
I mean, that there's a lot of the folklore that, some people are like, meh, and then there's some that there's with a lot of the spirit activity that goes around there that makes you think that it could very well possibly be true.
I believe that 100%. Hmm.
And I don't much care for the pond myself. Something about the pond just gives me a real eerie feeling. I don't know. It's just something really weird feels off around that pond.
Like, like what? Anything stand out to you?
Um, well, like the night I went up in June when my father was in, you could hear when you were by the house, you could hear the bullfrogs.
Mm-hmm.
Hear them clear as day. But as soon as I walked over by the pond, it went literally dead silent.
Mm-hmm.
The wind was blowing, but it was only blowing at the tops of the trees. The lightning bugs were everywhere. And I couldn't get a good picture of it, but when I was standing behind the house, lightning bugs were like, it was almost like flashing lights pointing and going towards the path. Like something wanted me to go back up onto the path.
Hmm.
So, and I was just like, no, I'm not going to go that way. I'll go this way. And I went over by the pond. And like I said, the bullfrogs stopped croaking. The lightning bugs were gone. The only breeze was at the top of the trees. There was nothing down on the ground. It was just like, it was almost like being in the center of the heart of a tornado, the eye of a
Huh.
tornado.
Yeah.
It was
When
just
it
The
gets when it,
silence, complete everything. There was nothing.
Kelly asked about the movie The Witch of Hinsdale. That's just a crock
Yeah,
of crap, is all it is.
that is, yes.
Just a bunch of people getting up there and acting foolish. It's
Yep.
all it amounted to.
Yeah.
I have since 1975 wanted to make an actual documentary that tells Clara's story. And every time I started, it never seems to get finished. Just like anything you start in that place. Where the hell is the all of the hours, the hundreds hours of film from Alex and Father Al? It went to NYU and it never came out. It
Because
disappeared.
nobody wants that to be seen. They don't. They want to keep it secret. Kind of like Penhurst. There's a lot of history at Penhurst too that they don't want out and about, and they'll tell you the good parts of it, but they won't tell you the bad parts.
Yeah. The same thing with Bill Conley, but we know what his problem was, so we won't get into him.
Hmm.
You can't put money up your nose and then sell the equipment to get more and then make a documentary.
Yeah, but I mean, Jade, if you do end up going up to the house, I would love to meet you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I
when
would
when
love to
you get the
go.
calling, when you get the calling, let me
Right.
know. You'll have to let me know, or if Paul let me know.
I'll make sure that when I'm trying to look around all my microscopes and everything else to get to my
Well,
calendar.
this is actually my first intentional paranormal thing that I've done in like 6 months because, like I said, I've been working on my mental health and stuff.
Your
And I say intentional
they,
because even though you focus on stuff, ghosts still
they can
talk to
feed
you.
off
But
that.
but this is like, I'm like, I need to do this because the Hinsdale house, like, it's kind of like the whole purpose of everything. And Paul, like, I know you were there in the trenches, and like, you know,
But mental
I
with our abilities, mental health is keynote. If you don't have a good mental health, it could really, really, really mess with you.
but yeah, but I would
Yeah,
love to go
Paul.
back to Hinsdale with y'all. Be great to plan something. Hopefully, when the weather's a little better or whatever. But
Yeah,
maybe in a few months. I was just waiting to get back to Dan. Really, he said to check my schedule, and I don't know, Paul. Whenever you're free.
Well, I can usually go to the house anytime it's not booked. But then Link comes up for 4 days, 20, 21, 22, and 23 of June. We do have a couple of things that we want to definitely accomplish. Uh, and then the 20 be the 21st. That'd be Friday. We're going to be painting Mary's room, but that's only going to take probably 3 hours.
Oh, you are.
Yeah, yellow. Dan wants yellow. Good Lord.
Okay.
Should just keep it white.
yeah.
Keep
Mary's
it bright in there. It's too damn dark in that house.
not going to be too happy with it being yellow.
I wonder how the spirits will feel about the color
That's it right
change.
there. You
Uh-uh.
need to ask them first before
Exactly.
you paint anything.
Well, ask them and then paint it an opposite color so they get all riled up.
Good luck with that. I mean, it's like an hour away. I can, even just for like a few hours, I can drive up and say hi. Don't have to stay overnight, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm only an Olean, so I'm only like
Nice.
skipping a jump.
It's an awesome drive. I love the drive.
I do too when my GPS works. As soon as I get near the Hinsdale house, my GPS stops working.
That's already been done, Robert. Robert said he'd like to see the lidar scanning. They did underground radar penetration through that whole field around the pond, and they found many what appear to be grave sites.
I think I know him. I think he's talking about under the home.
Oh, okay, under the home. Yeah, all right. Oh, scanning. I'm sorry. Okay.
I was going to say that basement's dirt floor. I'm sure there's plenty of
Hey,
skeletons in that basement.
Paul, what do you think of maybe getting a hold of BOCES since they got their own audiovisual thing and ask them if they'd be interested in taking their kids up there to have them film your documentary, and it could become part of maybe their final grade or something that they have to do.
Yeah, but I won't be able to do it before they graduate.
I'm
But
talking
can
about
I
for
just
even next year.
can I just say one more thing? But I mean, how would you feel if, say, you were one of those people, if the stories are true, you get like raped, murdered, killed, you get stuffed in a crawl space, your body, you want your remains to be dug up, you want your story told, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
most
Well,
definitely.
I told Dan I would have dug them up by now. They'd be all. I'd be
well,
digging
I
all
mean,
over
it's
the
not
place.
that easy, but I mean, eventually, well, he's preserving it, so, and he's done an awesome job. But I'm
Oh
just
yeah,
saying for
absolutely.
for future investigators for the future to keep uncovering history and you know.
Well,
That's
see,
Oh, I'll be right back.
when
I'll
we
be right back. I think my
fresh,
daughter-in-law's water just might have broken.
oh
okay.
no,
Oh,
look,
I'll be back.
hope
um,
that goes well.
when we were up there with the spirit with the specialists, um, they had, like I said, they had a spirit box, and we were listening to the spirit box out by the pond and everything. There was a woman's voice that kept coming over it, talking, and there was a man's voice who kept telling her to shush.
Mhm.
And it did come over the spirit box that there were there was a woman and two kids buried by the pond.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of tragedy, but
Oh
there's
yeah.
also a lot of good.
You say the history part and everything. I would definitely, without a doubt, dig up one grave. I would have to if I owned the property, and I could have owned it. It was offered to me, and I said I don't want nothing to do with it before Dan bought it. I kind of wish I did, but then I'm glad I didn't. Um,
Mhm.
See, now to me that would be more of a, if I owned the property and I knew that there were possibly bodies buried there, and there was scans and they were found, I personally, I would dig them up. I would have them carbon dated and try to find the history of them. But then I would also preserve them
oh
in
yeah,
something, in their resting place, in that resting place.
yep. I would
And
give them a proper burial.
spirits and give them a proper burial in that, so that way they are still a part of the house and a part of the history. See, now people are probably going to think bad of me, but I personally do not like going to the Hinsdale house much, for the simple fact is it has turned into a tourist attraction.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's not about coming and visiting a place where there has been tragedy or where spirits are there. It has become a, how do you put it,
Freak show.
kind
Mm.
of, yeah, like I don't expect to walk into a home that people have lived in and find sweatshirts and postcards and, you know, all this paraphernalia that you can purchase. Like that was like going to Penhurst. I went mainly to Penhurst. My daughter took me to Penhurst mainly because we wanted to experience something other than the Hinsdale house, where we had never been before, never heard stories of before. We wanted to go there with an open mind and everything. And when we went, we actually got a tour. It was a 2-hour tour of the Penhurst property and buildings with a nurse that used to work there. So we got the nurse's version, I guess you can say, of the history of it,
Mhm.
what it was mainly there for, why it was there, and then you learn the other history.
I
But
mean, I personally buy all the merch and stuff. I mean, I love the house, but I mean, I know Dan. And I know that
yeah, I don't have to buy the
he
merch.
was
I
he
got,
was meant to buy that or to he was meant to restore it.
oh yes.
And I mean, it is what it is. There was an exorcism there. It blew up. It it is what it is. I don't know.
blow up or exorcisms blow up all over the place. So
Well, it blew up like over social media too.
yeah,
I
because
don't know.
a lot of people out there that don't believe, that don't want to believe.
But like Paul said, it's become a farce. I mean, I've seen some videos on it that are actually like popular YouTube channels, and I'm
Yeah,
just shaking my head. Like,
Yeah.
I watched the paranormal episode of it with all the flies in the window and all. I'm like, no,
well, there are flies in the window.
not as many as they had up there. It literally looked like they went out and caught a bunch of dead flies.
Oh no, no, Danielle. Some nights you can go in that house and there's 500 flies in Mary's room.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just absolutely. I went to bed one night. There's a video on it. There was just a couple of flies in the house, and we woke up and there was 13 dead at the end of the bed. And then when later on that day, I didn't film it, but there was a ton of them in the closet dead, and they weren't there earlier.
Oh, the wonderful closet I won't go near.
I'm gonna sleep in it on the 21st. I'm sleeping in the
That
closet by myself
sleeping in.
with a recorder and a camera
Um,
going the whole time. That's where I got the very loud on the recorder. I sat down. As soon as I sat down, I had my granddaughter with me, who was 9 years old. We were waiting for Link to get there. So, well, I opened the house for Link. I sat down, and as soon as I sat down, two words were spoken: sit up. Immediately. We didn't hear it, but it was on the recorder.
Yeah.
I think it was the guy that also said, come here to me right here. Or,
Yeah.
when I was being an ass one night and I walked up the stairs, we were asked to come up by a group. They recommended that we come up, and we got up there, and I walked up the stairs and I said, hey, 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 dum dum. And just as I walk into the master bedroom, somebody screamed louder than hell, and they all heard it and got it on recorders. Come here. I went down the stairs and started crying like a little sissy
mm.
because it scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, I won't go near the closet.
I'm gonna spend the whole night in there, all alone, all by myself, and Link will be probably in. Are you gonna be in the master bedroom that night?
Yeah, I don't know if we're there by ourselves that night, but I'll be right nearby.
No, we won't be. No, we won't be.
I
Kim,
won't.
where?
I won't sleep in Mary's room as a medium. I won't.
No,
No, I won't. I tried and I got the hand around my throat, and I thought if I try to sleep here, like something is gonna enter my body, honestly. So why would I do that? Oh, and I also, you know how the dandies, you know how the pets would die like
yeah,
3 months after going under the bed? I asked why, and it said sacrifice.
really. Well, sacrifice my ass. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for a fight. I need to get to the. Okay, why did Alex Jade try somehow to figure this out? When after the exorcism, Alex Tanis was sitting in a chair here with his back to the stairs. I walked out into the kitchen, and when I put my hands on his shoulders, all I could feel was like when you take a balloon, rub it on your shirt, and put it by your hair flies up. The static. He came up to me after that and said, thanks for not pushing the issue. Because Jan Kahn, who was leading this NYU group, asked me, she overheard me tell Mike that they didn't get rid of it. It was only a punch in the arm. She overheard that. She said, will you say that on tomorrow's documentary? I said, no, hell no, I won't. I'm a 22-year-old long haired drummer. Well, how can I go against somebody who's supposed to be a well known psychic? But he told me the house wants answers from me. Told me that to my face. The house is looking for answers from you. I said, me? I've only known the family for a year and a half. What could I tell the house? I don't know nothing. Is there something I'm supposed to know that I don't know how to go about telling it?
But you think, Paul, when you're telling about the house, you're telling the truth. When a lot of other people are telling about the house, they've got fabricating everything
Yep.
and it's a farce. But when you're talking the heart. You're talking what you feel, what you know. You're not trying to make up stories to talk about the house. And that could be what he's saying. You have a story to tell from what you know more than what anybody else, more than what I know,
Well,
because they're talking to you in different ways.
and
Just like the two young ladies say that they can feel it.
if you think about it, Paul, you brought my father back to the house to tell stories, true stories about his growing up there and about not having horrific experiences living there. So there's another
Uh,
of the story
the
of this.
scariest thing I ever felt in that house was one time Ron went to bed. It was dark. Frank and I went upstairs, didn't turn no lights on. We went upstairs to go to bed, and two glowing lights, looked like eyeballs, came across the room in front of us. That's the only time I was ever scared in that house. To this day, that's the only thing that ever scared me. Nothing else has ever scared me.
And just
Even to this day, I can go in that house. I don't get scared. I might get chills. I might get the hair may stand up a little bit, but I don't get scared. I'm comfortable.
yeah,
That's why I say I could sleep in that house alone and not worry about it.
so could I.
I
You know,
thought I could, but I something told me to get the hell out of there. And
correct.
That
I
doesn't.
honestly believe that something did tell me. I don't think it was my own thinking. I think something was telling me get out.
Yeah.
Correct. That's what I'm talking about. That's the stories that he's saying. You have stories about that Hen's Head house to tell. You don't know them all, but they're there. As soon as your mind lets you, as soon as the house lets you know them, you'll know them.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's it. I don't know.
I mean, you've brought so many people who are truthful of their stories out to tell their stories.
Yes, you are here to tell the truth. Paul.
That's it. Right.
Well, I can't tell anything but that. I mean, I'm not going to make things up and say I saw a levitating cow in the backyard, which,
Right.
some of the stories people have told me, um, they're hard to believe. Some that I've heard might be hard to believe, but very possible. I never when people tell me they're pushed or something, I think, oh, geez, here we go. But when I got punched, I got to take that "here we go" and take it away. I can't say that no more. And
Mm-mm.
I used to because I was and I still am skeptical about a lot. I will not use a phone app. They are nothing but a novelty. That's all they are. You can't convince me that if I turn on Spirit Talker that I paid for, I'll turn it on and I'll sit it here and listen to it for half an hour. And it's saying the most stupidest fucking things I've ever heard that have nothing to do. I'm not saying nothing. I didn't ask you questions. And it comes up and Link recently got the update, and what does it say? Republican wedding. Ooh, what's that? I think they accidentally put the wrong words in the wrong app.
Good Lord.
Republican wedding.
I have an app on my phone called Spirit Box. And doing my bedroom, this is going to sound kind of weird, but I was doing my bedroom and it used to be Micah's bedroom, and she hated sleeping in this bedroom. Her bed had to be in front of the closet door to keep the closet door closed. Now, when we moved into this house, the woman who used to live here died in this house.
Yeah.
And when we bought the house, it came with her china, furniture, all kinds of stuff that belonged to her. And Micah's bed was her bed. And she had a rail on the side of her bed. And in the morning, she would be on the floor. The rail would still be in position, but she would be on the floor, and she was only 1.5 years old.
Huh.
Now that I'm in that bedroom, I keep that closet door completely closed because if I don't, my cats are in there scratching at the door, trying to get in there, staring at the door. You'll hear little noises coming from the closet door. I put my phone in that closet with my spirit box on, and I have a rocking chair that my grandmother Reeler had made for us in that closet. And as I'm standing there painting my door, my spirit box goes, or my room, my spirit box starts going off, and it says Betty. Now, Betty is my stepfather's mother's name.
Coincidence. That's all it is.
Is it?
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I don't believe in these things. Mine's running right now, but it's quiet. For some reason, it didn't start spitting out words the other night. It was spitting them out as soon as I turned it on. Is there anybody here with me right now that wants to slap me in the head?
Someone's watching.
Now it says someone's watching. Right as I said that.
I was
And it's
actually
an
going to say that
actual answer to that question.
the spirit
It
world
must be
is.
that halo you've got on your head.
Are you here? Someone's watching. Are you watching me? Well, you won't say yes or no, so I have to give you something where you can say something stupid like "I'm behind you." Where are you in this room? And I'll give you. Okay, you don't answer right away. I don't. It's not real.
Scarlet.
Scarlet. Now, is that Scarlett O'Hara or is that a color? What are you
Scarlet
saying?
Red.
I said who's next to me. I said Scarlett, so maybe Scarlett O'Hara's here. Did you play with what was his name in the movie?
Paul.
Huh?
Guys, I have to go. I have to get kids to bed and stuff.
All right, Jade.
Night, Jade.
Early morning. It was nice talking to you guys.
Nice
Charlie,
talking with you too, Jay.
It was nice to meet you, Charlie.
Hold on one second,
Hope
H.
you can come
And
in.
Nice to meet you, Jay.
Everybody else. Thank you, Paul, for inviting me.
Thank you.
And if you are not friends of mine on Facebook, add me and let's plan a trip to Hinsdale.
Sure thing.
That sounds
Okay.
good.
Of
All
course.
right.
Thanks, Jade.
Have a good rest of your evening, guys.
Night.
You too.
Bye.
Easy.
Good night.
Night.
Hey,
Hey, Scarlett. What the hell was his name? What was the actor's name that Scarlett played with? I can't, with the hat and the oh shit.
how did she play with him?
How many spirits are in this room right now? Elevator. There you go. There's a response to all the questions I just asked. There's your phony baloney app. Elevator. Elevator. Go climb an elevator and jump off the top. Those things are useless. And I paid $4.99 for that thing. I want my money back.
Oh, see, mine's free. I don't pay anything for mine.
I have three on. I've got Necrophonic, which is garbage. All it does is make. It doesn't even say a whole word. I wish it would say. It'll say, but what? Butler? Butthead? What are you trying to say? Red Butler. Thank you, Nancy. That's not who I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of. Oh my God! What's the name of the movie? It's one of the biggest movies ever, but I can't think of it.
With Scarlett O'Hara.
Clark Gable. That's it, Nancy. Thank you very much. That was his name. And Denny's got Charles Hamilton. No, I was thinking of Clark Gable. No, I was not thinking of Clark Gable. Yes, I'm going to look it up now. Who was Scarlett O'Hara's? I keep thinking Ernest Borgnine. It wasn't him either.
What do you think? Gone with the Wind?
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, Gone with the Wind. What was his name?
Clark Gable.
Okay, then it was Clark Gable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was Scarlett in that?
Yes.
Let's get the full cast and crew. Jeez, I got to go all the way down a list of a bunch of people before it comes up. Scarlett's Bow. Scarlett's Bow, get out of here.
You okay, Hank?
Gerald O'Hara, Ellen O'Hara, Gerald's wife. Who was the house servant? Yeah, Clark Gable. There he is. Rhett Butler. Yep. Well, anyhow, that's. Hey, Scarlett, are you still in my phone? Is Clark with you?
All right. I'm back. I'm just waiting for a phone call from Nick or Amy.
I think Angel just got home. She took Nala to the vet.
Yeah, she said they think that she's got an ear infection and she got her shots.
I thought she's had an ear infection for months. Keeps
But no,
doing
I
this
think
shit.
that her.
She sits there all day doing this to where she starts crying.
Oh yeah, that's definitely an ear infection.
Scarlett was played by Carol Burnett. That's what it was.
We think that her water broke because it won't stop, and she was all upset.
It
Like,
won't
go to the
stop.
hospital.
Well, no, if your water breaks, it's not going to stop till the baby flops out.
Well, it's not going to flop out because the baby's breech and the cord's wrapped twice.
Oh
Jesus.
no. Yeah, I would definitely be heading to the hospital.
So Nick's like, we're going.
Yeah.
Kelly asked if anyone's ever heard of Eloise's Asylum. I haven't.
I haven't.
I
What
think
is that? I think that was on. Started watching that Death Walker last night. I think it was one of the places that Nick visited in season 1.
I know I don't. Who dinged me? Oh. Oh. Excuse me, I burped. It was a quiet one though. Are you all going to be quiet now?
Sorry.
Why is there one thing missing? Oh, never mind. It was Jonathan and Jade.
Yeah, but
Oh, Charlie just popped. Charlie fell off the thing.
Yeah, it kicked me out.
Uh,
I touched my phone and it kicked me out.
you were quiet for too long.
No, I had to go pee.
Thanks for taking us with you.
Well, I left you here.
Oh, it's going to be a long night, I think.
Yes, it is.
it is going to
So
be
much
for
for
you.
resting today.
Well, you still have tomorrow.
And then I go back to work on Monday, but I might not be going back to work on Monday if she's still in the hospital because I got Chloe here.
Oh, yeah, true that.
This is why I save all my sick time.
There you go.
I never know when I'm going to have to use it for everybody else. Because I tend to go to work sick.
You said that your daughter-in-law's water broke?
We think her water, well, I say her water did break, but she thinks it broke, but she's not sure. She didn't know if she was.
She might have just peed on the floor is what you're saying?
Huh?
She might have just peed on the floor is what you're saying?
That's what she said. She goes, I don't know if it's just, it continues or, I was like, your water probably broke, hon. I was like, that's usually what happens is it doesn't stop. It's like a faucet that doesn't turn off.
Mm-hmm.
But she's got to be very careful because the baby is sitting breech and the cord is wrapped twice around its neck.
Mm.
They didn't take it early.
Well, she's good because she's like around 37 weeks right now.
Well, but I'm saying, knowing that the cord's wrapped around its neck 3 times or twice and being breached, I'm surprised they didn't do an emergency C-section already.
They were talking about Wednesday.
Really?
But yeah, because she just seen the doctor yesterday? Oh, yesterday or Thursday. She's seen the doctor. And he said she looked good, everything looked good. And then all of a sudden, 2 days later, well, that's so good because she was supposed to see him on Monday. Well, she might be seeing him on Saturday. It's okay.
Yeah, because that baby's probably like, get me out of here now.
Yeah. Well, they didn't waste no time. My son's like, nope, let's go.
Good.
That's why my granddaughter's here.
Because my oldest was born 36 weeks and had her umbilical cord around her neck 3 times.
What are you doing here? You can't be here.
Yes, I can.
What?
Yeah, it was the only time you've ever had a seizure, too.
No,
You're
it
not
wasn't.
allowed to be here. I thought you were spending
Huh?
the night at
No, it
Aunt
wasn't.
Becky's or Diane's or Linda's or whatever.
Diane's.
Where the
So
hell
I
are
might
they?
have another grandson tonight.
What's her name? What's her name? What's her name?
Amy?
Yeah, Amy's water
Amy.
broke.
Yeah, Amy. I didn't know what you were talking about.
Amy's
Hi,
her
Nancy.
water broke.
Yeah, I know. Everybody already told me it's a big deal out there. So, all about it. I've heard it like 5 times already.
Why
Wait till
was
you have a baby, Sophia, and your water breaks. Don't like, oh, it's just a big deal.
I forgot that nobody can see the chat.
Yeah,
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny because when mine broke with her mother's,
Daddy's been
I
smoking
knew
weed
she
all
was
day. I'm
breached,
wondering if we're ever going to see
and I
it.
had been in the pool, and I got out, and I thought I
Something
was
about
having
pain.
contractions.
That's
So I said, well, I got to hurry up and get a shower and maybe go get checked. And I got out, and
Ribs.
Is
it
it cooked?
continued,
Yes.
and I thought my water had broke. And I said, everybody's like,
Nobody
what's going
told
on? I'm like,
me.
I was cramping up and everything else, and they're like, you should go
When
to the
did it come
hospital. I
out
said,
of
well,
the
I got to
thing?
do my hair and put on my makeup first.
I've only
Is
just
mommy
got
home?
here.
So I wouldn't leave until I did my hair and put on my makeup. And I got there, and 45 minutes later, I was having a kid.
Well, see, you would have been sitting in the hospital for how long?
Because of that.
For what?
Not very
I
long,
threw
because they were
against
going to
the
take an
wall and
emergency
stuck
anyway.
her there like a big.
As soon as I got there, they were
Well,
kicking me in and out. I
because of
came.
her, she had to get her
Totally off
shots
I have to
and
ask.
her ear infection that she probably had.
What was that?
Cigarettes are you guys smoking?
Who?
31s right now.
What time? Why did I say what time? I wasn't asking anybody time of anything. When? Where is your daughter? Why isn't she home?
I'd like to get Senecas, but they're way too much right now.
Oh well, I'll just talk to the wall, Tina.
Whose daughter?
Tina's.
What?
Where is she?
Amy. No,
Where's who?
Mommy.
Angel.
She's upstairs.
At your house?
Your house.
No, she's
No.
not.
She's not here.
Oh, she told me she just got. I thought she said she just got home, or maybe she's on her way home.
No, I was just asking because I work at Lake Erie Tobacco. So depending on where you buy your cigarettes at, depends on if I make them or not.
I like Senecas, but I can't afford Senecas right now.
I know they're so expensive.
So I got 31s.
We make those too.
Well, they should be sending 31 lights over to the Sassies. Well, they don't. They only got lights. We need ultra lights.
Huh.
Oh, no, we need lights. These are regular flavored. These are the regular ones. We need lights or ultra lights. They don't have them over there.
We don't make ultralights.
Do you make lights?
31.
No, they make cigarettes.
31 full flavor, menthol, and light, and that's it.
Oh, you don't make menthol lights?
No,
Well, that sucks.
not in 31s. Nope.
Yeah,
How
there
much does
was
it
a
cost you guys
comment.
for Senecas? How much does it cost you guys for
Everything's
Senecas
blown up.
there, Danielle?
For where?
At Lake Erie, where you work.
Oh,
You guys buy?
I don't smoke, so I don't know.
Oh, Do you guys get to buy them from there?
No,
No. Oh, that sucks.
not really.
I won't go over to Ron's because they're like $30.
Yeah.
I know that's a lot cheaper than the other ones that they could sell that are taxed by New York.
Yeah. Yeah, like the Marlboro's links over there puffing on.
How much did them cost you out there, Link?
$15 a pack.
Link, how much did they cost you, your Marlboros?
I used to smoke Marlboros. They're 120 a carton. So now I smoke Mavericks, and they're 80 a carton. So when you guys say things are expensive, I just sit here and shake my head because it. Okay.
80 for Maverick. Well, no, Mavericks aren't. They aren't. They aren't native brand, are they? No.
No, I don't have that option here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I just.
So why
listen
don't I
to
mail
what
you
it
some?
says. And what?
Why don't I mail you some native
Because
cigarettes?
it's against the law.
I'm
Yeah.
not looking at that.
Only if you're caught.
Oh.
I should be able to. I mean, I know
Nope.
a business can't mail them. Does that mean that I can't send my brother
By law,
cigarettes in the mail?
by federal law, you are not supposed to.
I'm reading this up too. I want to see.
But
Can I send my brother, my brother?
my Borther, just like you can't get caught going over the border with more than 10 cartons per person of age in a vehicle.
So you take 6 adults with you and you can get 60 cartons
Right.
over it.
Right.
Listen to this. This is such crap. All cigarettes and smokeless tobacco, as those terms are defined in Section 1 of the blah, 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 commonly referred to as the Jenkins Act, are non-mailable and shall not be deposited in or carried through the mail. Fine. Then I'll have,
Frank Zappa.
how would I get them there if I don't use mail? Who else carries?
Paul, all you have to do is you purchase like some sweatshirts or something like that, and you wrap the cartons in the clothing, box it up, wrap the box in like put the inside in put bubble wrap around the inside of it,
A bag of perfume.
tape the box shut, take it to the post office, have it weighed, and have it say fragile, and away it goes.
Yeah,
And just don't put your name on it.
last night we were talking about murdering people. Tonight we're talking about contraband. Holy shit, we're all going to have FBI knockers at the door.
Oh, I was actually telling you guys about me telling the police officer that if they came into my house and they found my husband laying in a bed with a dull knife sticking out of his eye, it was me that did it.
Yeah.
And then I just told you to get some pigs. So there's another thing. Now I'm incriminating myself that I know pigs will eat bones too.
And I said I want llamas first because I want him to spit on them. I've told my husband that so many times. He's like, shut up.
The only thing, Paul, with pigs is you got to make sure you remove the teeth and the hair and nails. They don't eat that.
Now, Leg could have probably, he just posted it here, but he could have told me that anyhow because he runs a prison.
I think he just did.
He's like, I am not in this conversation. I am pleading the fifth.
Tim was smoking meat today, and it's 8:33, and I've not seen any of this meat yet. Is it still smoking since 1 o'clock?
No.
It's done?
Yes.
Why hasn't I have not eaten food today.
I made baked goulash and garlic bread.
Get in your car.
Cheesy garlic bread too at that.
Mike,
Then get in your car. You're like I said, you're 6 minutes from this
Drive
house.
us.
it's Link's fault. I had tuna melts today. It's all Link's fault. I haven't eaten tuna in over a year.
Oh shit, that sounds good. Tuna melt. That does.
I know.
How about cream peas and tuna on toast, Paul?
Oh my God.
Wait, how does one smoke meat? Oh, you mean a smiling machine?
You roll it in paper and light it. Did you say meat or mead?
Smoker machine.
What the hell's a smiling machine?
Smoker machine. Yeah, goodness.
You said smiling machine, Link. What is a smiling machine? Don't type it in. Use your mouth.
A hookah.
I meant to say, you keep saying that he is smoking meat. And I am like, we're talking about smoking cigarettes. So I'm like, he's now people smoke meat. And then I'm like, oh, no, I have a sneaking suspicion. Now he's talking about food. So he must be smoking food somewhere, but I don't see any smoke in the house. So you guys must have a smoker outside.
I want to know what your second sentence means. Oh, you mean a smiling machine. What the hell does that even mean?
Oh, it's not even there. I put auto incorrect. You know, of course it's incorrect. It doesn't make sense.
How does one smoke meat? Oh, you mean a smiling machine.
I think he meant a smoking machine.
The computer that I'm typing on likes to change all the words. So I look at them and then you get crazy. You get crazy stuff when I push send. So I put auto incorrect. That's what it's called. We've all heard of it. So what are we harassing me about this for?
I just asked
to your corners, boys. To your corners.
Yeah.
Link, you said once earlier you sent a thing, sent something about the eyes that I seen, the glowing eyes upstairs.
Yeah, I responded to somebody who didn't hear you say that you saw eyes floating across Clara's room or the main bedroom. Yes, I was responding to somebody that was asking you about it, but I don't think you
that's
saw
nothing.
the comment.
You want to hear what Paul heard last night?
Moaning
They were
in
talking
his
about
bedroom?
kitties.
I don't know.
They were talking about kitties, and he thought she said titties.
It wouldn't surprise me with Paul in any way, shape, or form.
I was sitting in my truck and I said, I'm not going in my house yet because if I do, my kitties will be all up in my face. And he thought I said my titties.
Yeah, I didn't hear what you said, and so I didn't hear that. But I heard the reaction to it was everybody was talking dirty, and I'm like, well, somebody must have said something dirty, and I just missed it. You know, I didn't dismiss it. I
ignored it.
I just missed the key words of what you said. Yeah, that's what it was.
So did Paul.
Yeah, Paul really heard.
Yeah, I find it so interesting, not to get back to the house, but what happened when Charlie was there, and then what happened when they moved out and Clara moved in. All of a sudden, maybe it was Clara's kids, but all hell broke loose when Clara moved in. I mean, Charlie did say that he had numerous things going on. Mike's room was freezing, which I would have wanted to sleep in the summertime then. I mean, if that's the case. Aunt so-and-so, move over. I'm coming in there because it's nice. You know, that kind of thing. But then Clara moves in and stuff's flying across the house and ashtrays and
right. But Link, not to
that's
interrupt you, when Clara moved in, did they start doing any kinds of renovation or changing to the house?
I think they put that pond in to make it more appealing for people, because it's all of their properties. They were always digging these half moon ponds. Is what, when you look down on Google Earth, all those properties that were theirs, they all have these half moon ponds on the property, and I don't know why they need it, but I guess it is a place to put all that water that Charlie was talking about in that area was all swampy anyway. So, it served two purposes: collect the water and then have this lovely little pond.
Well, see, and who's to say that swampy area? It wasn't swamp. It was swampy. It wasn't swampy because of it being almost like shallow grave.
Well, yeah, there's there's 12 graves over by this one tree, and then they just recently found 3 more between the pond and the house.
Right.
And they also got that pile. That one pile. That Dan was talking about, that they don't know how many are in that. There could be people in that one.
I don't know about a pile yet.
Paul. What was the thing about Dan was talking about the one lump? Remember the one lump where there might be numerous bodies in that?
The one what?
The one, it's got like a little hill. It's like a little knoll.
The mound.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything about the mound itself. I know out where all the 1,000 flags were that Rich mowed up.
So what did you get?
I just tried a piece. It was cold too, so I don't want it. I have to heat it up. I don't remember how many bodies there's supposed to be. I don't remember. The number has changed, but then they found 3 more right up close to the pond before you get to the pond. But the flag, it doesn't make sense because the way the flags are in the ground, they're like this. He's got 3 flags, and they're that close together. So it would be like there would be 3 caskets on top of one another. I mean, the way you think, if you find 3 anomalies in the ground, they're going to be at least a couple of feet apart, or even a foot apart.
Well, if there were small children, like Charlie had said, his parents rumored was, if they were 2 small people and 1 larger person, I don't know.
Like a wife and her 2 kids, yeah.
But what
they would be all in one hole.
Well, that could be because the tip of the flags are only a foot apart completely,
right.
All 3 of them. So who knows?
And who's to say they even used a casket?
Right.
Exactly. I guarantee.
Yeah, lots of times they didn't. And if they used a pine casket, it would rot the ground anyhow within 35, 40 years. They would deteriorate.
Caskets.
And the ground up there is always wet and soggy. And
that's what I was saying before you came back, Paul, is because I had asked, because Link was saying that after the Halliday family moved out, that when Clara moved in is when all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
And asked if there had been if they had started doing any renovations to the house itself, and he said no, but they put the pond in. And with my dad saying that it was always swampy in that area, that it could have been shallow graves. And when they dug the pond out, dug it out in mounds, you wouldn't have noticed any bones or anything, because depending on how long ago it was, they could have been pretty much part of the.
Well, Dan,
yeah, and what you're trying to say is they may have disturbed graves with the greater equipment. Right. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And didn't Dan say a half of a tombstone was found in the pond?
Something like that.
Well, where the fuck is it? You wouldn't take it someplace else. You'd put it there as part of history, wouldn't you?
Up on the side?
Somewhere. I'd put it in the house even. At least somewhere on the property, not take it elsewhere.
So I think that's my theory as to why the spirits became so
agitated,
vintage, or blah, blah, blah. So angered is because they were doing renovations. They were changing what the spirits knew originally, and it sparked anger.
And that could be why the land.
We just lived there. We didn't change nothing. We didn't build anything other than run a tractor and cut the ground and grow potatoes and corn and peas and stuff like that you eat. Other than that, we really didn't do any major changes. I can remember my dad taking my older brother and putting him on a rope to clean the sides of the pump or the well house, and pouring a bottle of bleach down it. But other than that, we never really rebuilt or tore down or did anything like that to that house.
He put them on a rope. He put them on a rope and lowered them in.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
shit.
sounds right.
Yeah,
That
scrape
sounds-
the mold and stuff off the side of the rocks and stuff, and
right. That sounds about right. That's
why
how else?
Goes crazy. Paul, you wonder why we all have issues.
I don't got issues. I got family.
Jesus. Get out there and clean out that well, you little shit.
But
I don't know how many times, Paul, when you were around the house, did you ever see my dad actually in a good mood?
Not really.
That was his mood.
Yeah. He was like me.
And if he looked at you a certain way, you didn't say nothing.
You knew.
You jumped.
Yeah, you knew that you just needed to maybe turn around and look the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I'm messing with you.
laughing.
Yeah.
But I never really got to meet my grandfather. Meet him.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's what sucks when you don't meet him.
But
I loved him to death, but I hated his shoes. He wore steel-toed shoes, and I'll tell you what, my shins still show it.
Yeah.
And the seat of my trousers, I can remember many times. And finally, he would put his hand on our shoulder and kick us in the butt because we got to where we could jump just as that foot hit the butt, and then come down without it. So he put his hand on your shoulder, so when he kicked you in the butt, you felt it.
Jesus.
And these kids nowadays whine and cry because they get a little spanking.
Yeah.
They don't.
I can remember going to St. John's with a pillow in my arm so I could sit down because my brother Ron did something and I got in trouble for it. And my dad tore my butt up.
They don't even get spankers today, Charlie. They get their electronics taken away from them and they whine.
no, they're not even allowed to do that.
Yeah, okay.
You know? I think.
Or go sit down on that chair. That's a timeout chair.
Yeah.
No,
Time out my ass. My dad, no.
Yeah, I got timeout. Yeah.
no,
Timeout at the shed, timeout at the.
no. You're not allowed to send them to their room because that's isolating them. You're not allowed to put them in timeout because that's isolating them. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that. That they're screwing up our future.
I can remember one time one of my brothers or sisters told my dad they were going to call HR on them or whatever they were back in them days. And my dad says, "Great, then they can feed your ass and I won't have to do it no more." They can feed you and clothe you and I won't have to do it no more.
Why the hell is your sister not on Facebook?
I don't know.
Dang.
What, Aunt Millie?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I think if I remember correctly, I think there was a lot of issues going on with Facebook, people reaching out to her and stuff that she didn't want to have contact with.
Well, then you block them.
Yeah, but you got to understand though, on Facebook, there's so many ways to make so many different accounts with so many different names, with so many. And personally, I feel other than for this reason and getting recipes, I probably would not have Facebook myself.
Now, the only reason I have Facebook was so that I could keep in touch with my daughter, my granddaughters, my brothers and sisters, And that's the only reason why I ever had Facebook.
That's why I have it. It's family.
That's what I got it for, to keep in touch with people I haven't talked to in forever.
Right.
Or
But
to find
so many people have ruined it for those that are only using it for that purpose. They're ruining it. Social media has ruined so many families, so many marriages, so many lives. It's some people don't know how to look away from it.
Yeah, and there's so much untruths on there too.
Exactly.
Well, I'm going to lose power to my phone here, and I had to put it on charge. I love y'all. Nice talking with y'all. Love you, sweetheart.
Love you, Dad.
Well,
Hi, Charlie.
I hope you can make it up sometime, Charlie. If you do, we'll
Yeah,
get
take
up
care.
I will. I'll definitely
I
give.
don't want him to get naked up somewhere.
I will do it. I will do it. Right now, watch. Yeah, but yeah, I'll sit down with Mary and we'll look at June and see if we can find a time to get up there.
Okay, sounds good.
And you just tell me the dates that you'll be going up to the old house and stuff, and
All
we'll
right,
see what we can work out.
all righty.
All right, y'all have a blessed evening. Love y'all.
Yep.
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye. Hey,
Bye.
guys, I'm heading
Bye.
out. I got to go take care of Chloe. She wants to
Yeah,
go
it's
hang out.
been almost 3 hours, and I have not eaten. Link hasn't eaten.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was waiting for the meat to get done. It's been done for hours.
All
Well,
right.
Link hasn't eaten?
Bye,
No,
guys.
I didn't. I overslept. No, somebody's just smoking all the meat at your house. You're not going to eat nothing.
What?
I'm-
All right.
I'll talk to y'all later.
All right. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Whew.
See y'all later, guys.
Take care.
Night.
Night.